Chapter 411. The path of death was unsolvable. Being enveloped by the death aura, anyone's soul would be affected and their vitality would be taken away, causing an inexplicable panic. Li Gongong was able to break through to the heavenly fish realm because of his willpower. He was confident that he could kill the Death War King. Unfortunately, the Death War King was no longer the same as before. He had broken through to the heavenly fish realm and was prepared to die. If a person who had comprehended the path of death was going to die, everyone else would die with him. The Death War King's killing methods were too shocking and too strange. Li Gongong had just dodged one attack when a second one suddenly appeared beside him, scaring him out of his wits. Li Gongong did not even think about it and counterattacked. Balls of murderous aura intertwined with the path of death. The murderous aura was no match for the path of death. The power of death devoured the murderous aura. The blade light fell and almost cut Li Gongong in half. Li Gongong dodged quickly, but the blade light still cut through his heavenly scale armor. Blood splashed out as the power of death began to corrode his vitality. The Death War King did not stay any longer and attacked crazily. One blade after another. Each blade carried the power of death. He wanted to cut Li Gongong into pieces. Li Gongong used all his strength and used all his trump cards. He wanted to fight to the death with the Death War King. Ghostly palm after ghostly palm struck out furiously, and demons appeared one after another. It was as if he had entered the demon world and could scare anyone out of their wits. It's useless. In the same realm, no one can stop my path of death. The Death War King's voice was like the judgment of the King of Hell. The dark Deathblade light cut the demons into pieces. Li Gongong did not expect the Death War King's combat power to be so shocking. His vitality was taken away, and his combat power was greatly reduced. He could not use his strongest combat power at all. Many terrifying blade lights shrouded him and chopped him into pieces. Poor Li Gongong, a heavenly fish realm elite, died here. Seeing this scene in the distance, the emperor was scared out of his wits. He cried out involuntarily, "Li Gongong, my loyal minister, Your Majesty, please take care of yourself. You can withdraw first. We will take care of everything here." Yang Jinan appeared beside the emperor and said very responsibly. Yang Jinan had already realized the seriousness of the situation. At this time, there was no way for him to avoid it. When the emperor saw this old minister, he said with a face full of guilt, "Zhen has let down your Yang family. Your Majesty, now is not the time to talk about this. Quickly activate the array and send people to the Imperial School to ask for help. As long as the people from the Imperial School arrive, everything will be resolved." Yang Jinan said, "That's right. Only Principal Qi can suppress the Death War King." The emperor replied and ordered the kings beside him to break out of the encirclement and seek help from the royal school. Yang Jinan and Su Yinshui guarded the emperor's left and right. The others rushed to block the rebel army's attack. Many of the family members in the palace were scared out of their wits. This was the first time they had experienced such an unforeseen event. They all screamed and kept looking for a place to hide. As a princess, Tang Xiaoan's body was priceless. She did not escape. Instead, she changed into a set of martial clothes and rushed out with her battle weapon. Princess, what are you doing? Let's escape quickly. The rebel army is attacking." A palace maid anxiously called out to Tang Xiaoan. Tang Xiaoan did not even turn her head and said, "This is my home. Where can I escape to? Whoever dares to bully us, we will bully them back." For the past 2 days, she had been worried about Yangwu. Now that the palace suddenly encountered such a situation, she mustered up her courage to kill the enemy. She wanted to prove that she was a useful woman. She wanted to become strong, protect her home, and protect her man. Outside the palace, Shouho and Guo Xiafei rushed over. Especially Shouho. He had already used his demon transformation. His overbearing broken staff swept in all directions. There was almost no one who could resist him. He rushed out from the rear of the rebel army and caused them to panic. So many people. How can we kill them all? After Shouho saw the number of rebel army, he was stunned. His fighting strength was very strong, but he did not think that he was invincible. "Kill them. Prince Fu and said to his confidant beside him. That confidant held a battle spear and rushed towards Shou Ho and Guo Xiafei at the same time. This person had reached the peak of the Combat King realm. That's why he dared to come alone to kill Shou Ho and Guo Xiafei. In other directions, some loyal ministers brought some people to protect the emperor. Among them, Luo Gongming was the most powerful. Luo Gongming was a general who became famous even earlier than Fen Tianxiu. He was a general who was conferred the title of Marquis and was once the superior of the Death War King. His battle strength was one of the top 10 kings, and he held a pair of maces in his hands. Rebels, I, Luo Gongming, am coming. Luo Gongming was very fast. When his voice fell, he had already rushed into the palace. When he appeared, Eunuch Li was also killed. He gathered his strongest power and attacked the back of the War King of Death. Every shadow of the mace flashed with golden light, and every strike of the mace was powerful enough to destroy the houses within a radius of hundreds of feet. Prince Fuan thought that Luo Gongming would come for him. He was ready to fight, but he did not expect that Luo Gongming would come for the Death War King. He sneered and said, "Sure enough, you are a reckless man. You are in a hurry to die." The Death War King had stepped into the heavenly fish realm. His reaction was very powerful. Before Luo Gongming's attack landed on his body, he had already moved away. His eyes were filled with the will of death as he looked at Luo Gongming and said, "Old general, go back. I don't want to kill you." Luo Gongming was the Death War King's benefactor. In the past, if Luo Gongming was not the marshal, he would not have the opportunity to kill his way out. So, he did not want to kill Luo Gongming. You don't want to kill me, but you want to kill the emperor. Now, even if I have to risk my old life, I will not let you succeed. Luo Gongming glared at the Death War King and said. He then added, "You retreat immediately. I can plead for mercy for you to the emperor. Then go to hell." The Death War King said ruthlessly. Then he raised his sword and slashed at Luo Gongming. The black sword light was like a cloud. In an instant, it enveloped Luo Gongming and robbed him of his vitality. It extracted his will and wanted to cut him in half. Luo Gongming ignored the death aura. He blocked the sword with his two truncheons and shouted, "Your path of death is useless against me." Just as he finished speaking, the power of the sword slashed his truncheons. The sword light slashed between his eyebrows and cut him in half. Blood bloomed like a flower. It was so miserable. An old general whose fame had spread far and wide had died in a single strike. How tragic was that? Many of the generals in the palace were incomparably sad and indignant when they saw this scene. Many of them were Luo Gongming's disciples. Seeing Luo Gongming die in front of them made their hearts ache. "Bastard, do you still have any humanity? You even killed General Luo. I will fight it out with you. Everyone, gather your strength and kill this bastard. We can't let him harm the common people. You kill my master. I will tear you into pieces." Some generals lost control and roared. More than a dozen people rushed towards the Death War King. Many powerful forces bombarded the Death War King from different directions. These majestic forces were quite amazing, but it was still not enough to kill the Death War King. Black scales condensed on the body of the War King of Death as he walked out of the energy. A formless death aura enveloped the surroundings, affecting all who attacked him. His saber slashed out horizontally, and one head after another fell to the ground. Such a killing method was very efficient. When the others saw this, they were all frightened. How can they fight against this invincible death god? "Ha ha, good kill, good kill." Prince Fuan laughed. "Protector General, even you dare to rebel against me? Kill him for me." The emperor looked at the Death War King and shouted. Below, a group of Imperial guards used a super cannon and aimed it at the Death War King. The super cannon was a super weapon used to attack cities. It was not easy to use it. It required a lot of mysterious spirit stones. It was the trump card of the Imperial Palace. Originally, it was used to bombard Prince Fuan, but the Death War King's threat was too big, so they had to deal with him first. Asterisk bang. Asterisk, the super cannon fired, and a beam of light flew out like a meteor. The power of the explosion was earth-shattering. It could even kill a Heaven Realm powerhouse. The person controlling the super cannon had already locked on to the Death War King. He wanted to kill him at all costs. Prince Fu and was not close to the cannon. Seeing this attack, he was shocked. He murmured, "Shui Gue made this thing. Its power is really terrifying. I hope that guy can withstand it." Death War King faced this attack, but he didn't retreat. Instead, he condensed more and more power. The death aura of the surrounding people was absorbed by him. He faintly said, "I am here to die. If you have the ability, come and kill me." Death Blade's dismemberment. It was like a saber from hell. Wherever the saber passed, there was no life. Nothing could block it. The cannon's attack was cut in half, but the saber force still rushed towards the super cannon, blasting it to smithereens on the spot. Everyone there was killed by the power of death. Good, this throne is mine." Prince Fu exclaimed in excitement. The Death War King did not waste any more time and rushed toward the Emperor. "Marshal Yin, take his majesty and leave immediately. I'll hold him back." Yang Jinan tightened his grip on the Dragon Rebel spear and spoke as if he was facing death calmly. Loyalty to the country. This was the belief passed down to him by his father. Today, he will die for his country. "Count Yang, I will confer you the title of protector of the country." The emperor ran away in panic, but he didn't forget to confer a title to Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan didn't listen to the emperor's words. He raised his rebel dragon spear and thrust it forward. In his mind, his wife and children's faces appeared. With endless unwillingness, he roared, "My wife and children, farewell." At this time, someone came down from the sky and said, "Father, we are fine. Why are we parting?" Chapter 412. Yang Jinan was determined to stop the War King of Death and give the emperor a chance to live. As he threw caution to the wind, his blood boiled and connected with the dragon reverse spear. He suddenly reached the realm of being one with the spear. This was a concept, a bottleneck that he couldn't reach before. Ever since Yang Jinan lost to Huan Junbo, he forced out the limit of his bloodline and awakened a little. It was also after that spear attack that his battle prowess increased instead of decreased. Even though he was now one with the dragon reverse spear and could unleash the tyrannical power of the spear, challenging the War King of Death was still like throwing an egg against a rock. Just as Yang Jinan was about to bid farewell to his wife and son, his son descended from the heavens like a deity descending from the heavens. Yang Jinan was so scared that his spear almost collapsed. Luckily, he managed to stabilize it and continued to attack the War King of Death with a dragon-like roar. The power of this attack was equivalent to the strength of a peak combat king. This kind of power was nothing but the light of a firefly in the hands of the War King of Death. He pressed down with his palm, and a ball of black death energy quietly wiped out this tyrannical attack. This was the difference between the heavenly fish realm and the earth-sea realm. "Die!" The War King of Death spoke with a cold expression. He raised his hand and slashed at Yang Jinan. A surging field of death enveloped him. The power of this slash made Yang Jinan feel suffocated. He shouted with his heart full of love for his son, "War, run! He is the War King of Death and has already broken through the heavenly fish realm. You can't fight him head-on." Yang Jinan didn't want his son to die. Just as he was about to rush forward to meet the attack, Meng Bingxue appeared and pulled him back. Yang Jinan didn't have any room to resist. He could only watch as Yang Wu met the attack of the War King of Death. This deathly aura might be able to deprive others of their vitality and directly affect their soul. However, it was completely useless against Yang Wu. Yang Wu's way of death was refined from the imprint left behind by the Death Warlord and the Death Seed condensed by the Rose of Death. It had become the purest form of energy, purer than what the Death Warlord had comprehended before. The Battle King of Death had not been able to condense the pure Tao of death, which was why his life force had been consumed by the power of death. He had been tortured until he was neither a human nor a ghost. He had said that he had come here to seek death, which was not wrong at all. Yang Wu sensed the deathly aura of the War King of Death. The aura of the Way of Death in the divine court Tao flower pulsed. minimizing the influence of the aura. The only thing that posed a threat to him was the War King of Death's heavenly fish realm power. The War King of Death power was even more tyrannical than Yao Yanhai's. Yang Wu could fight Yao Yanhai to the death when he was at the intermediate level of the Earth-Sea realm. Now that he had broken through to the advanced level of the Earth-Sea realm, he naturally didn't fear the War King of Death. Yang Wu swept the double-edged tri-dragon spear and shouted, "The name of the War King of Death has long been like thunder to my ears. Today, I will fight with you and see whose way of death is stronger." Yang Wu used the sevenfold wild waves again and again. Waves after waves crashed into the ground. The surrounding power of heaven and earth was faintly driven by him, forcibly blocking the attacks of the War King of Death. When everyone saw the mighty Yang Wu, they all had different reactions. "Marquis Yang Wu is back. God is really helping me," the emperor said while dancing with joy. After Li Gonggong died, he no longer felt safe. Even the super cannon was destroyed by the War King of Death. Many of his confidants rebelled. He didn't know what other cards he had to continue resisting. So, he began to run away. Now that Yang Wu appeared, it was a great blessing. He believed that Yang Wu will definitely be able to redress the rebellion for him. When Prince Fuan saw Yang Wu, his eyes flashed with a thick murderous aura. He shouted, "Kill! Attack this place with all your strength. Whoever can cut off the emperor's head will be rewarded with a King Dan and a King skill." With such a great reward, his subordinates killed with even more vigor. Every single one of them attacked mercilessly, killing their opponents with all their might. After the War King of Death killed a lot of generals, the strength of the imperial palace was greatly reduced. Many experts were not able to rescue them in time. On the other hand, Prince Fu and still had a mysterious powerhouse to support him. There were dozens of kings and thousands of soldiers. It can be said that they had the upper hand. Prince Fu intended to kill his brother first. Then, the overall situation would be set, and the others would be nothing to be afraid of. There was also a super expert with a mask beside him. This person was one of Prince Fu's trump cards. He must take advantage of the time before the Imperial College's people arrived and completely deal with this place. Yang Wu alone cannot change the outcome. "Go and bring me my brother's head, lest there be more dreams," Prince Fuan said to the super expert with a mask. The masked man nodded his head and rushed towards the direction of the emperor. His speed was quite fast. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in the inner courtyard of the imperial palace. He was only one step away from the emperor. Su Yinshui was protecting the emperor. He was a high-level earth and sea realm expert, so he could not sense the masked man's arrival. However, when he saw the masked man suddenly appeared, he was shocked. He immediately pulled out his stick and wanted to send the masked man flying. The masked man stretched out his hand and grabbed Su Yinshui's stick. Then, he casually threw it back. Su Yinshui was sent flying along with his stick. The emperor exclaimed, "Save me, Marquis Yang Wu! Come and save me!" The emperor was also a king, but his strength was not as strong as Su Yinshui. So, how could he dare to fight with this masked man? The emperor spread his wings and hurriedly escaped. He absolutely did not want to die here. Yang Wu and the King of Death were fighting fiercely. So how could he save the emperor? Yang Zhenan wanted to save the emperor, but he was blocked by Meng Bingxue. He anxiously said, "You let me go. I have to save the emperor." Except for Yang Wu, Meng Bingxue will not listen to anyone else, even if it was Yang Zhenan. Yang Zhenan was crazy, so he said, "Daughter-in-law, why don't you help the emperor? I know you are very strong. You can definitely defeat that guy." Meng Bingxue was still indifferent, but when she heard the word daughter-in-law, her heart couldn't help but beat strangely. She had never felt this way before. "Go." The masked man didn't give the emperor too much of a chance. He made a prompt decision, rushed over, and slapped the emperor's head. This was the power of a heavenly fish realm expert. Even if the emperor had 9 heads, it was not enough. "Don't!" Tang Xiaoan happened to be nearby. When she saw the masked man killing her father, her heart instantly felt like it was being cut by a knife. She was very sad. Ever since she was a child, the person who cared about her the most was her father. As long as she wanted something, her father would try his best to satisfy her. He held her in the palm of his hand and took care of her all the way until she grew up. Although her father scolded her a few times, he never really hit her. She respected her father and loved him deeply. She once thought that when he was old, she would take care of him just like how he loved her. Unfortunately, she could not wait for that day to come. She knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. She hated herself for not having the ability to save her father. When Prince Fu saw the emperor's head explode, he could not help but cheer. "Ha ha, good. The emperor has died. Why don't you surrender now?" Prince Fu has been waiting for this day for a long time. Finally, he saw his brother die in front of him. His wish was finally fulfilled. Not good. His Majesty has really passed away. His Majesty. These traitors will not die a good death. Let's fight with them and avenge the emperor. The emperor has died. Daxia will never have peace. Those who watched the emperor die began to wail in grief. In their hearts, the emperor was the sky. Now that he died, the sky will fall. Many of the generals who were still fighting were frightened. They fought so hard to protect the emperor. But now that the emperor died, how can they continue to fight? Prince Fu took the opportunity to shout, "Surrender to this king, and I will not kill you." If this voice was still alive, it will certainly not have a deterrent force. But now that the emperor is dead, it has a deterrent force. Those who were afraid immediately threw away their weapons and chose to surrender. "I surrender. I surrender. Don't kill me. I am willing to surrender to Prince Fu, and forget it. Resistance is useless. It's better to surrender. Anyway, there's still a family waiting for me to go back. Let's not fight anymore. The emperor is already dead. This is not something we can change." Some surrendered, while some were still loyal to the end. They still stubbornly resisted and killed the enemy. Prince Fu could not help but go to the Golden Lawn Palace to sit on the dragon throne and enjoy the taste of being a king. Many courtiers rushed over from other directions. They all showed a deep sadness in this thunderstorm. From now on, Daxia will change. The emperor is dead. Yang Jinan murmured on the spot. He really can't believe this is a fact. The imperial palace was heavily guarded, and there were layers upon layers of arrays. Even if a heavenly fish realm powerhouse wanted to kill the emperor, it would be very difficult. But this time, the traitors were already prepared. They instigated a lot of courtiers. The imperial palace's defense was like a piece of paper. It was easily broken, and the emperor was killed on the spot. Yang Jinan inexplicably felt a little sad. In the past, the emperor was not kind to him. At the last moment, he tried his best to save the emperor, but he still could not change this fact. However, whether Prince Fu could safely sit on the throne, there is still one more thing to pass. The battle between Yang Wu and the Death War King is very important. If Yang Wu wins, his throne will definitely be unstable, and he will follow in his brother's footsteps. If Yang Wu loses, he will be the new emperor of Daxia. At this moment, he really wants Yang Wu to be cut into pieces by the Death War King. The Death War King is not Yao Yanhai. No one can resist his Death War King, not even you, Yang Wu. Prince Fu clenched his fist and looked at the battle in the air. This will be a sleepless night. Chapter 413. 7 layers of wild waves, each layer stronger than the last. The rainwater converged into a river, crazily attacking the Death War King. The Death War King's deathly aura was ineffective for the first time. He was incomparably astonished. While blocking Yang Wu's spear attacks, he faintly said, "Who are you? Why aren't you affected by my Tao of Death?" The Death War King had always been searching for a way to restrain the Tao of Death. He didn't want to die like this, but after so many years, he still couldn't suppress it. Perhaps this youth before him could give him a sliver of hope. Your deathly aura can scare others, but not this lord. Yang Wu replied. He already knew that this was the legendary Death War King of the Death Legion. This Tao of Death wasn't something that could be imitated by others. Yang Wu didn't have much admiration or respect for the Death War King. Even if his Tao of Death had benefited from the Death War King's brand, it didn't mean that he would be grateful. If he didn't have the Peach Core Dantian to purify the energy, perhaps he would have died from the will of the brand. Of course, He wouldn't bicker with the Death War King over this matter. The two could only be considered strangers with a small relationship. At this moment, the Death War King was an enemy. Yang Wu would definitely go all out to kill him. Is that so? A little king can withstand my power. You could be considered a genius. Unfortunately, I won't take pity on you. Die with me. The Death War King revealed a somewhat perverted expression as he increased the power of his attacks, pulling tendons and flaying skin. The Death War King condensed the power of darkness, and the sharp blades turned into saw teeth that slashed towards Yang Wu. This power was filled with a strange restrictive aura, making people unable to move, as if it wanted to pull out their tendons and skin them alive. Yang Wu felt a great binding power, and his movements were affected. If it were any other king, even a peak king, they definitely wouldn't be able to move. This was the suppression of the heavenly fish realm, at least 1,000 ding of strength. It wasn't inferior to the barbarian race's heaven connecting ladder. The Death War King wanted to use this move to kill Yang Wu. He didn't have the time to waste with Yang Wu. Even if his deathly aura didn't affect Yang Wu, his battle prowess was the real deal. Would it be possible for a king tier to block him? Anything was possible in this world. Who was Yang Wu? He was a peerless genius who could slaughter a heavenly fish realm cultivator. In a transcendental realm, there are not many who could do it. Death War Monarch had lost the advantage of his death aura. To Yang Wu, he was nothing more than a good challenger. To put it bluntly, he was just a whetstone. He wanted to become stronger and more powerful. He wanted to become the war god that Little Hay had mentioned. The only path he had to take was to become stronger when facing a strong opponent. Yang Wu activated his battle blood, and the power of the battle race filled his body. His battle power skyrocketed, and the double-edged tri-dragon spear in his hand let out a dragon's roar. His sevenfold wild waves attack reached perfection, and it was enough to contend with the Death War King's power. When the saber light and spear light collided, dazzling Xianqi lights exploded in the air, and the rain was blasted away. When the Death War King saw that Yang Wu was able to block his attack, his eyes revealed a look of surprise. He then said, "Killing such a genius is quite interesting." The Death War King used his previous killing techniques. It wasn't that he didn't know how to kill people without the way of death. His killing methods were more brutal than anyone else's, and he knew how to kill people. Otherwise, how could he have killed his way to his current fame? The Death War King used his unique movement technique, and like a reaper, he rushed towards Yang Wu. The ghost-shaped saber in his hand became tighter and tighter. When he got close to Yang Wu, Yang Wu wouldn't give him a chance to attack. The double-edged tri-dragon spear pierced towards the Death War King's wrist. The attack was as fast as lightning and contained a sharp spear aura. Strands of extremely cold Xian-Qi spread out, and the freezing power was enough to seep into one's bones. It would make one's movement stiff and slow down one's reaction, making it easier for him to kill his opponent. Yang Wu had already fused 2 types of Xian-Qi, and the Xian-Qi he created was not to be underestimated. It wouldn't be difficult for him to compete with Yao Yanhai. However, the Death War King was someone who didn't fight according to the rules. He actually ignored the power of Yang Wu's spear and used his black scales to block it. He took the attack head-on. Taking advantage of this moment, he closed in on Yang Wu and sent out a palm strike that contained the most powerful force, blasting towards Yang Wu's chest. Heart-shattering palm. This was the Death War King's early famous palm strike. He had already cultivated it to the point of perfection, and a single palm strike could shatter mountains and destroy the life of a heavenly demon. Yang Wu had a lot of battle experience, and his reaction was quite sharp. However, he didn't expect the Death War King to exchange blows like this. Before he could react, he had already been hit. Pang! The power of this attack was not as powerful as the one Meng Bingxue used to hurt him, but it was not any weaker than the Heavenly Core Thunder disaster. Yang Wu's body was slapped away, and he disappeared into the darkness. No one knew if he was dead or alive. The Death War King held the arm that was hurt by Yang Wu and murmured, "The King of Young Warriors can hurt me. It's not easy." The Death War King had been through hundreds of battles, and his body had already lost the ability to feel normal pain. He was on the verge of losing his senses. This was called muscle necrosis. Even if he could still use his body to fight, he didn't have much time left. This was why the Death War King said he wanted to die. He had broken through to the next level, but the injuries that he had accumulated over the years had destroyed his life force. There was no medicine that could cure him. Perhaps after this battle, his life would come to an end. This was his final value. He wanted everyone to remember that even if he died, the Death War King would still be a great legend. Just when he thought that the battle was over, Yang Wu had already returned to kill him. The Death War King's attack just now had broken his bones, shattered his muscles, and hit his heart. The destructive power was shocking. Yang Wu spat out blood. However, after he circulated his energy a few times, the strand of immortal qi and the two types of mysterious essence qi quickly healed his injuries. As his power level increased, his recovery speed increased as well. That was why he could return so quickly. Death War King, I'll show you the true power of the Tao of Death. Yang Wu shouted as he activated the Tao of Death, creating a field of death that enveloped the Death War Monarch. At the same time, his double-edged three-dragon spear transformed into the Crimson Essence sword and slashed out with a nameless sword skill like a meteor shower. The combination of the Tao of Death and the sword intent created Yang Wu's most stunning attack so far. If it was Yao Yanhai from before, Yang Wu was confident that he could kill him on the spot with this attack. The Tao of Death's power to deprive life force had become stronger, and the sword intent had improved. Needless to say, his combat power had improved. It could easily kill a heavenly fish realm expert. The Death War King was surprised. At the same time, he felt a strong threat. The scene of him fighting with the brute generals at the border flashed in his mind. That year, he killed 36 brute generals who were no weaker than him. He killed them all by himself, pulled out their tendons, and dismembered their bodies. His methods were extremely cruel. He knew very well that the feeling of death was very real. He felt as if he was facing the same fate. He was going to die with his tendons pulled out and dismembered. Ha! Death is my final destination. The Death War King suddenly laughed wildly. The impure willpower in his divine court was slowly pushed out and condensed into a trace of the true power of the Tao of Death. This was the true seed of the Tao of Death. The Death War King had been tempering the Tao of Death for many years. In fact, it was not because he had condensed the will of death on his own. It was because he had obtained the brand of death by chance that he embarked on this path of no return. It was also because his willpower was strong enough that he could reach his current height. If it were someone else, their life force would have been wiped out by the brand of death. Under the influence of Yang Wu's death aura, he finally sensed the convergence point that he could not find for many years. That was the land of death. He had personally walked on the edge of death. Only then did he know the true essence of the Tao of Death. If he did not die, how could his enemies die? If his life was not extinguished, how could he be reborn? The Tao of Death was to put death in order to live. The Death War King finally understood this point. He slowly raised the ghost-shaped blade in his hand and made his final counterattack. Behead, Soul Extinguish. The last two moves of the Death Blade art were also the two ultimate moves. The two chi of death clashed together, and a deathly aura covered the sky. Even the people on the ground faintly felt a chill run down their spine, and their life force seemed to be draining away. If the two were to fight a little closer to the crowd, a group of people would have died on the spot. This was the terrifying power of the Tao of Death. The sword moved, and the blade light clashed again and again. Wave after wave of explosive sounds were no weaker than the sound of thunder. In fact, it was even more deafening. After the two sides clashed, Yang Wu's neck had an additional wound. A strand of hair fell down, and his soul had also suffered some damage. Fortunately, his head was not cut off, and his soul was not extinguished. Yang Wu was covered in cold sweat. If the Death War King's blade moved an inch closer to his neck would have been cut open, and his head would have been separated from his body. He had really walked on the edge of death. How thrilling! The Death War King's heart was pierced by Yang Wu's sword. After all, The Death War King had already reached the final step of death. He had come here to seek death, and it just so happened that Yang Wu's sword had sent him on his way. His chest was bleeding, and his body fell from the sky. He had a smile on his face as he murmured, "When I died, I comprehended the Tao of martial arts that I have been pursuing for my entire life. I can die without regrets." The Death War King, the god of death of a generation, had fallen just like that? Chapter 414. Yang Wu rubbed his neck and looked down at the War King of Death. He dived down and muttered, "If you didn't kill me, how could I let you die like this?" If others heard this, they wouldn't believe it. The War King of Death wouldn't be merciful no matter who his opponent was. So how could he let Yang Wu go? Yang Wu's speed was extremely fast. The moment the War King of Death fell, he caught him in his arms and didn't let the War King of Death fall to pieces. The War King of Death was already weak. His face revealed a trace of infatuation as he said, "Why did you save me? I deserve to die. Hell is where I belong." In this life, the War King of Death had killed too many people. He felt that he deserved to die. It wasn't that he regretted it, but that he didn't have the chance to live. His life force was fading away, and no one could save him. In fact, he didn't want to die. He only wanted others to die. "Your life is mine from now on. Whether you die or not is up to me," Yang Wu said, and then shouted in a direction, "Bastard, come over here." After his voice fell, in a very hidden corner, there was a shadow of a turtle floating like a dark cloud. It quickly rushed to Yang Wu's side and respectfully said, "Young master, your grandson is here. Your grandson is here." The silver-patterned turtle wasn't afraid of anyone, but it was most afraid of Yang Wu. Not only could Yang Wu deal with it, he could also control its path of advancement. In this life, it had to be his grandson. Watch him. Yang Wu fed the War King of Death a pill and then threw him to the silver-patterned turtle. The silver-patterned turtle was frightened and said, "Young master, his death aura is too strong. I will be infected. He won't die. Carry him." Yang Wu calmly shouted. The silver-patterned turtle didn't dare to say a word. It quickly carried the War King of Death with an expression as if it was eating a dead child. The silver-patterned turtle tried its best to shrink its body into its shell and used its powerful demonic energy to isolate the death aura. Fortunately, the War King of Death was almost dead. Although the death aura was fading, it didn't harm anyone. The Death War King was defeated. Others may not pay attention, but Prince Fu has to pay attention. Whether he can replace the throne or not, this battle is the most crucial. He will wait for the Death War King to kill Yang Wu. Then he will enter the throne room. Death War King was defeated? Prince Fu muttered in disbelief. The masked man beside him said, "The War King of Death has reached the end of his life, not because of battle. Useless waste." Prince Fu couldn't help but curse. Then he said to the masked man, "You go and kill Yang Wu." "Are you ordering me?" The masked man said coldly. "I don't dare, but our cooperation is about to succeed. You don't want this kid to mess it up, right?" Prince Fu replied, "Don't worry, he is nothing." The masked man said and rushed towards Yang Wu. The masked man has been watching the battle between Yang Wu and the War King of Death. He has some understanding of Yang Wu's situation. It will not be difficult for him to kill Yang Wu. He just needs to use his trump card. The masked man had a mysterious origin. He took out a battle axe, and a burst of earthy, yellow power floated. The surrounding xian qi of heaven and earth surged toward him, and a majestic gravitational field condensed. This was the means of the celestial fish realm. When his power accumulated to a certain extent, he raised the axe and slashed at Yang Wu. There is no need for any nonsense. He just wants to use this axe to end the battle. Heaven-breaking axe. This is a heavenly skill. Its power is really strong, as if a mountain will crash down on the spot. The masked man attacked from a distance. He didn't fight Yang Wu at close range, so he didn't have to come into contact with Yang Wu's path of death. His gravitational field had enough of an advantage to suppress and kill Yang Wu. Yang Wu was already prepared. His four wings flashed, and he was ready to use the advantage of speed to dodge this overbearing blow. He was not confident that he could block the opponent's all-out attack. This was a powerhouse of the heavenly fish realm, and he had to use tricks to have a chance of winning. While Yongwu was retreating, there was a beautiful figure that suddenly charged out. An ice crystal sword mark flashed by like a bolt of snow-white lightning in the night. It appeared so suddenly that no one could detect it in advance. "Be careful!" After seeing it, Prince Fuan screamed. The masked man's reaction was faster than Lord Fuan. Before Lord Fuan's voice came out, he had already sensed it, but it was already too late. Before the power of the ice sword reached him, he already felt a terrible cold chi lingering around his body, making him unable to react in the first place. At this moment, the ice sword pierced through his body and froze him into an ice sculpture. The masked man didn't even have the chance to scream. He was killed like this? The masked man's fate was truly tragic. In King City, only the King of Death could pose a threat to him. No one was his match, not even Eunuch Li, who had been slaughtered. Just now, he easily killed the emperor of the Great Xia dynasty. He thought that killing Yongwu was just a piece of cake. But the result was the opposite. He was easily killed. Aside from Meng Bingxue, there was no one else. She could no longer watch Yongwu get hurt. She violated the will of Yongwu, so she must kill the chicken to warn the monkey. As long as she is here, no one can bully Yongwu unless she dies. Prince Fuan widened his eyes and opened his mouth. He was completely dumbfounded. He had been lying low for so many years just for this day. The throne was within reach, but this beautiful dream had turned into nothing on the spot. How could he be willing to accept this? I refuse to accept this. Immediately destroy the palace for me. This place belongs to me. Prince Fuan roared as if he has lost his mind. Then, he ordered his people to attack the palace. This time, the defense line of the imperial palace completely collapsed. They simply could not stop Prince Fuan and his men. Everyone who tried to stop them was killed on the spot. Their bodies fell in a pool of blood. The thunderstorm washed the blood everywhere. Asterisk footnotes. Asterisk footnotes Prince Fuan, you traitor, I am coming to take your dog life. After Yang Jinan was freed from Meng Bingxue's restraint, he rushed towards Prince Fuan. He fused with the dragon reverse spear and turned into a powerful dragon shadow. The king realm guards around Prince Fuan were smashed into pieces by his spear. Seeing Yang Jinan was about to arrive in front of Prince Fuan, another king blocked his attack. The two sides fought fiercely. On the other side, Skinny Monkey-like and Guishafe also took the opportunity to attack from behind. Their fighting strength was not bad, so they could play a very important role. With Big Brother here, we can have a good fight tonight. Skinny Monkey-like completely let go of his hands and feet. He carried his broken staff and rushed forward. Skinny Monkey-like's fighting strength was quite strong. Few people in the field were his opponents. They were beaten to the ground by him in 2 or 3 rounds. Even if there were more powerful opponents, Skinny Monkey-like was still not afraid. His pair of fiery golden eyes burst out and killed the opponent on the spot. This kind of terrifying attack was really hard to guard against. Guishafei's fighting experience was very rich. The sword in his hand stabbed again and again. A lot of blood splashed, and the enemies kept falling in a pool of blood. Unfortunately, Prince Fuan brought a lot of people. There was also a group of mysterious experts. It was not realistic for the two of them to kill all of these people. They also provoked many kings to besiege them. The rest of the people who came as reinforcements were not able to make a big impact. Only 2 or 3 generals with good fighting strength could resist 1 or 2 attacks. The final result of this battle depended on whether Yongwu could defeat Prince Fuan or not. The masked man was killed by Meng Bingxue's sword. Yongwu looked at Meng Bingxue and said with a smile, "Bingxue, you don't need to be so nervous. He can't kill me. My heart hurts." Meng Bingxue lightly replied. Yongwu stroked Meng Bingxue's hair and said, "Well, I know your heart. I will not make your heart hurt again in the future." After that, he looked at the direction of his father. He saw top kings fighting with his father. The other side's fighting strength was obviously not bad. His father did not have any advantage. Not to mention, the other side had a lot of people. If this continues, his father will be exhausted and defeated. Yongwu was not in a hurry to make a move. He looked at Prince Fuan. This guy was leading his troops to the inner courtyard of the palace. Wherever he went, people were beheaded by him. He has entered a state of obsession and madness. The throne is mine. Prince Fu and only had one obsession in his mind. For so many years, he had put in a lot of effort just for today. A king angrily shot an arrow at Prince Fuan. This was a loyal king. He wanted to kill Prince Fu and to avenge the emperor. Asterisk puff. Asterisk before he could finish shooting the arrow, someone had already appeared behind him and chopped off his head with a sword in the air. Daring to shoot an arrow at the emperor, you deserve to die, the man loudly said. Obviously, this was a traitor king who was ready to join Prince Fuan. His purpose was to show his goodwill to Prince Fuan. Give me back my imperial father's life. Tang Xiaohan rushed out from a corner with a sword in her hand. With tears on her cheeks, she looked straight at Prince Fuan. All the experts in the palace were fighting against the enemy. The most powerful experts have already been killed by the Death War King. It was difficult for them to pose a threat to Prince Fu and's group of mysterious people. They had no time to take care of Tang Xiaohan. Tang Xiaohan was just a general. Rushing forward like this is absolutely the same as courting death. My good niece, I will personally send you to see your imperial father. After Prince Fu and faintly said, he pulled out his sword and slashed at Tang Xiaohan. A ray of light cut through the ground and slashed at Tang Xiaohan. It was impossible for her to block the attack of a top king like Prince Fuan. If the sword light passed by, she will be dismembered. When the sword light arrived in front of Tang Xiaohan, someone came down from the sky and stepped on the sword light with one foot. It did not hurt Tang Xiaohan at all. Princess, this minister will avenge you. A tall and straight figure stood in front of Tang Xiaohan and said. Chapter 415. Aside from Yang Wu, who else could appear in front of Tang Xiaohan? Tang Xiaohan looked at Yang Wu and cried even harder. She cried and said, Wu, my father is dead. The dead cannot be resurrected. Princess, you take care of yourself. Yang Wu's heart was somewhat complicated as he tried to persuade her. There were some things that he couldn't completely take care of. There were some things that needed a final conclusion. In fact, the emperor didn't need to die, but he had to die, didn't he? Yang Wu added a sentence. Leave everything to me. Yang Wu, you go to hell for me. When Prince Fu saw Yang Wu's back was facing him, he simply did not put him in his eyes. He jumped up from the tiger and thrust his sword towards Yang Wu's back. This sharp sword was very lethal, but it was still unknown whether it could reach Yang Wu or not. In addition to Prince Fu, there were 3 or 4 people around him who also made a move at the same time. Their power shrouded Yang Wu and tried to kill him. Yang Wu's senses were extremely sharp. He rushed forward, grabbed Tang Xiaohan, and soared into the sky, avoiding the attacks of these people. Princess, hold me tight. This minister will avenge your father, Yang Wu said and rushed towards Prince Fuan. A year and a half ago, Prince Fu ordered his people to raid the Yang family, so the two families began to hate each other. Yang Wu was sent to the border of hell. Yang Wen resigned from his position as the top scholar. His parents were beaten and sent to the hospital, and his servants were killed. These are all life and death grudges. Prince Fu's rebellion gave him a very good opportunity to take revenge. Tang Xiaohan hugged Yang Wu, but she did not like him at all. She really did not want to hug Yang Wu at this time. She wanted to hug him when she was in a good mood. She hugged Yang Wu's waist and gave everything to him. 4 wings flashed behind Yang Wu's back. The 2 swords, 3 dragon spears, and the crimson essence sword appeared in his hands at the same time. His eyes flashed with extreme excitement as he said, Prince Fuan, today, I will make you pay for what you did in the past. Prince Fu's rebellion has nothing to do with him. He just wanted to seek justice for his family. Kill. You all go up and kill him for me. Prince Fuan felt Yang Wu's killing intent. He was shocked and then exclaimed to the kings around him. A king rushed forward with his big sword and slashed towards Yang Wu. The sword slash made a dazzling light in the sky, illuminating the nearby space. Another King Realm expert swung his scythe at Yang Wu's lower body, wanting to cut off his legs. The other kings attacked from different directions, trying to kill Yang Wu as much as possible. Yang Wu could even kill a heavenly fish realm warrior. So how could he be afraid of being surrounded by a few people He flapped his four wings and appeared behind the king with a scythe and extremely fast speed. The two blades and three dragons' spear pierced through his back and threw him toward the king with the scythe. Yang Wu's other hand held the crimson essence sword and stabbed out. The 13 wind-chasing swords were as fast as the wind. The other kings screamed, and their blood splashed in the sky again and again. Kill! Yang Wu's killing intent surged in all directions. He roared and attacked from left and right. The dragon spear and the red sword burst out with different power. Wherever the spear went, someone would be assassinated. Wherever the sword light shrouded, there would be limbs flying. Several kings that besieged him were not his match. In just a few moves, Yang Wu killed them until they were utterly defeated. Prince Fu is not stupid. He will not stop and wait for Yang Wu to kill him. He has already retreated and crazily shouted, "Someone come! Kill this traitor! Kill this traitor! Quickly, kill this traitor!" More than a dozen kings surrounded Yang Wu at the same time. They used swords, knives, spears, and even hammers to attack. A colorful power shrouded Yang Wu. At that moment, a thick king armor appeared on Yang Wu's body. It was even thicker than the best king armors. There was also a layer of ice crystals on top of it. It was like a crystal that increased his defensive power. This was the reason why his Xian essence Qi was different. When these forces blasted towards him, he protected Tang Xiaoan and forcefully rushed through them. Those forces were unable to break through his defense. Then, he raised his battle weapon and attacked again. The spear's shadows were like strong waves, and the sword force was like the wind as it slashed through the air. The lethality of the attacks was more than 10 times stronger than the combined attacks of these people. A king couldn't dodge in time and was submerged by the wave. His king armor burst, and his chest was twisted into a pool of blood. Another king was cut by the sword light. One of his shoulders was chopped off. Blood spurted out like a flood, and his body fell down. Killing a king with one move, Yang Wu was too powerful. There was no way to stop him. With me, Yang Wu, here, all traitors must die. The more Yang Wu killed, the braver he became. He was like a god of war, killing in all directions. Kings kept dying in his hands. The situation of the battle changed. Everyone was shocked by Yang Wu's terrifying strength. It was simply unparalleled. Yang Zhenan, the skinny monkey, Gui Xiaofei, and some other generals gathered together. Their battle with Prince Fu became more intense. The sound of shouting and the crisscrossing of power reflected a bloody brilliance in the palace. The palace was in a mess. After this battle, this place will be full of holes. As the leader of this rebellion, Prince Fu has retreated far away. He has been paying attention to the battlefield, hoping that Yang Wu would be exhausted. But Yang Wu's Dantian was like an inexhaustible source of energy. Even after a series of battles, he was still not exhausted. There was no way to suppress him. He was invincible here. Damn bastard, you ruined my good deed. In the future, I will definitely kill your Yang family. Prince Fu unwillingly cursed and made a prompt decision to break out of the encirclement. Even if he could continue to fight and kill a few more people to intimidate them, with Yang Wu here, he would have no chance to sit on the throne. Yang Wu would definitely kill him, and there was no expert around him who could deal with Yang Wu. If he did not retreat, it would be better for him to wait. At this time, Yang Wu just cut off a king's head. The enemies around him were almost killed by him. Those who were not killed were seriously injured. They can no longer fight. They only want to escape. Yang Wu, Gidge, you can't let Prince Fu escape. Help me kill him. Tang Xiaoan has been holding Yang Wu. Her eyes have been paying attention to Prince Fu's movements. After seeing that Yang Wu has killed a lot of enemies, she said to Yang Wu, "He can't escape." Yang Wu softly replied. Then the weapon in his hand changed. No one knows when the double-edged sword and the three-dragon spear disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by a beautiful and domineering big bow. In the middle of the bow, there was a dazzling amber stone, releasing a unique tiger chi. Fallen Moon Bow. This was a heavenly weapon that Yang Wu brought back from the barbarian land. After Shui Gui reforged it, its power was restored. Yang Wu pulled the bow and aimed at the direction of Prince Fu. All of his essence, chi, and spirit were gathered on the bow. The power in his dantian was unceasingly stimulated. The bow constantly emitted a bright light. When the bow was fully pulled, the arrow that was pinched between his fingers instantly loosened. The arrow burst out like a rainbow. Whoosh! The arrow was like a meteor chasing after the moon. It broke through the layers of obstacles and flew towards Prince Fu, and Prince Fu An's eyelids twitched. He had an ominous feeling. He wanted to dodge, but the arrow was too fast. It was too fast for him to react. The arrow instantly penetrated his body. An unprecedented pain spread throughout his body. Prince Fu An was nailed to the wall of the palace by the arrow. Prince Fu An uttered a mournful scream. His vitality was quickly draining away. His pupils were constantly shrinking, and his body was struggling. He was a top king, so he didn't want to die. "It's over," Yang Wu murmured. The repressed emotions in his heart had finally been released. Prince Fu An was shot to death. The hatred in his heart was completely vented. The knot in his heart was finally untied. From a viscount to a prison slave, and then to a dead soldier on the battlefield. He went deep into the barbarian land alone. After experiencing many life and death hardships, he was finally able to return to the capital. He had a lot of worries, so he didn't dare to provoke Prince Fu An. But now, Prince Fu An rebelled, which gave him a chance to kill him. Just when Yang Wu thought that Prince Fu An was dead, he found out that Prince Fu An was constantly roaring. His body had undergone an amazing change. Before Prince Fu An died, he took a medicinal pill. His blood and chi were majestic. His body was like a demon. His body was covered with long hair. His eyes were blue, his fangs were exposed, and his roar was amazing. Prince Fu An turned into a monster. He pulled out the arrows stuck in his body and opened his mouth to absorb the surrounding aura. He looked at Yang Wu and roared, "Yang Wu, I will kill you." Prince Fu An's fighting strength has soared to a level comparable to a heavenly fish. He quickly rushed towards Yang Wu. His whole body was emitting a demonic aura. He was not like a human. He punched towards Yang Wu with his bare hands. The power of his fist was not worse than the power of the Death War King. How had this guy become like this? Did he practice some kind of evil skill? Yang Wu was puzzled. He put away the falling moon bow and raised his fist to meet the attack. Barbaric Tiger Fist. Wang Fu An's fist collided with Yang Wu's fist. In an instant, a terrible explosion sound was heard. The remaining power of the collision splashed in all directions. Soon, a person was blown away. This person was Yang Wu. In the collision of power, he lost to Wang Fu and Yang Wu was shocked. Yang Wu Gij, he became so powerful. Tang Xiaoan, who was holding Yang Wu, worriedly said, "It's just a momentary lapse of consciousness. Watch me beat him up," Yang Wu said while shaking his arm. He no longer dared to underestimate his enemy. He adjusted his breath and once again faced Prince Fu in Demon Fist. The medicinal pill Prince Fu An took stimulated his body and turned him into a demon. His fighting strength was completely different. This was his last card and also his last struggle. He hoped to drag Yang Wu to the grave with him. Yang Wu was his last hope. Barbaric Elephant Fist. Bang! Bang! Chapter 416. So what if King Fu An transformed? In front of Yang Wu, he was still unable to withstand a single blow. Yang Wu had already used his Barbarian Elephant Fist, which was the most tyrannical form of the Barbarian Fist. He had activated his Battle Blood talent and Fist Intent. Every punch was like an elephant stomping down from the sky. That destructive power was truly unstoppable. Yang Wu's fist and King Fu An's fist collided again and again. King Fu An's arm was bent and blood burst out. His whole body was ravaged by Yang Wu's fist. King Fu An's demon transformation was just a facade. King Fu An can increase his strength in a short period of time. Before he transformed, he was already at the end of his road. Now he was just struggling. Tang Xiaoan, who was on Yang Wu's body, looked at Yang Wu's power. Feeling Yang Wu's domineering power, her heart was greatly touched. Protecting my family, protecting my lover, it all requires absolute strength. Without strength, everything is in vain. I, Tang Xiaohan, will also become a strong woman. Tang Xiaohan secretly vowed in her heart. She never wants to see her family die in front of her again. This kind of thing once was enough. I'll send you on your way. After Yang Wu roared, his body quickly rotated and kicked Prince Fu In's head with Wind God's kick. Asterisk bang. Asterisk King Fu In's head exploded, and his body fell to the distance like a cannonball. When King Fu In's men saw this scene, their eyes were full of panic while the royalists cheered. Good kill, good kill. This traitor should have been killed a long time ago. Prince Fu In was slaughtered, so why are you still not waiting to be captured? Kill. King Fu In is dead. The others will also be buried with the emperor. Don't let them escape. The royalists were enraged, while the anti-emperors were retreating. They were no longer in the mood to fight. The outcome of this battle was already clear. Where's the traitor King Fu In? This prime minister brought 500 soldiers to protect his majesty. Song Liray, who came out of nowhere, shouted. In such a chaotic situation, no one could care less about whether Song Liray had arrived early or late. They only knew to focus on killing the enemy. Following Song Liruy's charge, a few other troops also appeared to kill the rebels. The situation had become very clear. The kings of the rebels fled as fast as they could, no longer planning to stay behind and throw away their lives. After Yang Wu killed Queen Fuan, he didn't make another move. He has been paying attention to the situation on the battlefield. He vaguely perceived some key information. Those kings that escaped were running towards Song Lirui. Song Lirui seems to be fighting against them, but in fact, he didn't stop any of them. There really is a ghost. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. Yang Wu brought Tang Xiaohan to the emperor's corpse and said to her, "Princess, please restrain your grief." Tang Xiaohan knelt in front of the emperor's corpse and cried nonstop. Finally, she fainted. Yang Wu sighed and carried her back to her courtyard to rest. What did the battle outside have to do with them? Someone would clean up the mess. Outside the capital, Wu Sanhao's 100,000 soldiers besieged the city. Such a big thing, it was impossible for no one to know. An old man went out alone to talk to Wu Sanhao. The old man was wearing a raincoat and walked toward the thousands of soldiers on foot. He looked like a man guarding the pass, but in fact, he was just an old scholar without the strength to truss a chicken. Wu Sanhao, Master Qiao. 30 years ago, Qiao Sanhao and Qiao Sanyi were the old emperor's right-hand men. One became a king, while the other became a marquis. Their status was already at the top of Daxia country. They were best friends. They had a friendship of life and death. One was civil and the other was military. They supported the development of Daxia country. Tonight, one man led 100,000 lions to besiege the city, while the other stood proudly to block the wind and rain. Did you forget the oath you made to the old emperor? Xiaosun looked at Wu Sanhao and questioned him loudly. He was full of righteousness and wasn't afraid of the 100,000 lions. Even if they trampled over him, he would die. Old Qiao, you know me. I have never thought of betraying Daxia country. You can rest assured about this. Wu Sanhao said to Qiao San. After a pause, he continued, I just don't want Daxia country's capital to change hands. As long as it's someone with the surname Tang, I will fully support them. Haha, don't you think it's ironic? The Imperial Guards only have 50,000 soldiers. Your 100,000 soldiers are enough to trample Daxia country. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? Qiao San sneered and continued. Wu Sanhao, the old emperor treated you and me well. The current emperor is also a benevolent ruler. Why do you have to do such a thing? I advise you to get off your horse and surrender. Qiao San was indeed worthy to be called Qiao San. He dared to resist 100,000 lions and even dared to persuade the commander to get off his horse. He only relied on his loyalty and patriotism. Presumptuous. You dare to speak to the prince like this? I will kill you. Wu Sanhao's fierce general shouted. Wu Sanhao waved his hand and said, This is between us brothers. You don't need to speak. Then he said to Qiao San, Old Qiao, you can't change the fact. We can't change it. I came here with a clear conscience, and it's too late to say anything now. Wu Sanhao, you're a sinner. You're a sinner. Qiao San was like a crazy person. He pointed his finger at Wu Sanhao and scolded him. Wu Sanhao was still indifferent to Qiao San's scolding. He just quietly waited for the arrival of dawn. The thunder stopped, the rain gradually stopped, and the sky finally brightened. The imperial palace was in a sorry state. Corpses were strewn all over the place. It was extremely frightening. In this battle, almost all the people brought by Prince Fuan died. Only a few kings escaped by luck. Most of the experts in the imperial palace were dead. A part of the imperial guards had defected, and it was the most important part. Their commander, Zhu Imo, had been executed. Fortunately, more than half of the imperial guards did not participate in this matter, so they still had a certain amount of fighting power. The other two vice commanders, Meng Helong and Wan Lanxin, had started to reorganize the situation here. Because of Prince Fu An's attack, a lot of people in the imperial palace were killed, including some imperial concubines and children. It can be described as a tragic scene. Fortunately, the empress and several important princes were safe and sound. They can be regarded as the direct descendants of the imperial family. Prime Minister Song, Chao Jianda, and other civil and military officials were busy dealing with this matter. At the same time, they also sent a team to Prince Fu An's mansion to search and confiscate everything. However, Prince Fu An has already made arrangements. His family members have disappeared without a trace. Only some insignificant servants were left. These servants still don't know what happened. Guo Xiafei and the others did not belong to the imperial court. After the battle ended, they returned to the Yang family. Yang Jinan could not leave. He was the first person to report to the imperial family and had done his best to kill the enemy. It could be said that he was the greatest contributor to this battle, and no one could erase him. He did not want to stay here, but as a first-rank count, he still had to stay and do something for the imperial family. The biggest hero belongs to Yang Wu. Without Yang Wu, the imperial family would have been completely destroyed. The other ministers have no choice but to support Prince Fu An as the new emperor. The Tang family's bloodline will not change. The emperor has just died. The dragons have no leader. The most important thing should be to bury the emperor's body, but no one did this. Instead, they threw the emperor's body aside and began to fight for the throne. The princes have different forces behind them. They began to show their magical powers, trying to support the princes they support as much as possible. Only in this way can they gain power. All the ministers have been preparing to elect a new emperor as soon as possible. Some people even took out the emperor's will and declared one of the princes as the new emperor. The other ministers did not agree and quarreled fiercely. If the emperor can come back from the dead and see this scene, I'm afraid he will die again. In these 3 days, Yang Wu did not leave the palace. He stayed in the princess's courtyard, guarding her. He and Tang Xiaohan were just friends, but that didn't stop him from liking her. This was a young girl who had never been hurt before. He sympathized with her and hoped that he could help her at a critical moment. He also had a crazy plan in his heart, but he was still in a dilemma whether to do it or not. Yang Wu sat in Tang Xiaohan's room, completely ignoring the power struggle in the palace. No one dares to disturb him. He killed the Death War King and Prince Fu An. So, who else will come to find trouble with him? Yang Wu's position is like a mountain. It is difficult to shake. Unless Mountame sends more super experts, they can't move him. At this time, Tang Xiaohan faintly woke up. Her beautiful face is pale, which makes anyone who looks at her feel distressed. Princess, how do you feel? Yang Wu asked Tang Xiaohan. Tang Xiaohan sat up and revealed a trace of seriousness, which she has never seen before, and asked, Did Prince Fu and his family have been raided? I heard that it's already empty. Yang Wu replied. We must find all of them and bury them with my imperial father. Tang Xiaohan's eyes flashed with hostility as she spoke. Don't worry, they can't escape. Yang Wu consoled. After a pause, he added, The dead can't be brought back to life. You should first recuperate and then think about how to deal with those traitors. Someone should be worried about this matter. I want to personally avenge my father. Tang Xiaohan gritted her teeth and said, Princess, you should take a good rest. I want to go out and have a look. My father died so miserably. I want to personally bury him. You don't need to go out. Yang Wu Gij, why did you stop me? Do you really think I am weak? After Tang Xiaohan said this, Yang Wu stood up and grabbed her arm, then said, "If you want to go out and have a look, I will take you out to have a look. Sometimes it's better not to look." Chapter 417. Throne Room. All the civil and military officials were gathered here. According to past practice, the civil officials sat on the left while the military officials sat on the right. They quietly listened to the emperor's words and the other officials' words as they discussed state affairs. Today, all the civil and military officials were here. It was as noisy as a market, arguing endlessly. There was no sign of the solemnity of a court meeting. The eldest prince, Tang Qingying, has been an adult for a long time. As the eldest son, he has long been conferred the title of crown prince. Him becoming the new emperor is a matter of destiny. Why don't you respect the emperor's will and the words of the ancients? Isn't it absurd to want to abolish the old and make the young? An old official shouted loudly. This old official was wearing an official's robe. He was already 70 years old with white hair and a white beard. His face was wrinkled like tree bark, but his eyes were still bright. He was Grand Preceptor Hua, who had long retired from the court. Grand Preceptor Hua was an old official of 2 generations. He had retired from the court for 10 years, but his influence in the court was still considerable. Grand Preceptor, you are wrong. If the eldest prince had long been conferred the title of crown prince, we would have been wholeheartedly convinced to help him ascend the throne. However, the emperor never made him the crown prince. I'm afraid the eldest prince is not enough to bear the heavy responsibility of being the crown prince, so he delayed it until now. An official replied to Grand Preceptor Hua. Then he waved the holy paper in his hand and said, "This is the emperor's holy will." He had long intended to make the second prince the crown prince, but he did not have the time to announce it until his unexpected death. Everyone can take a closer look. Is this dragon seal wrong? This person was the Minister of Revenue, Shang Liu. He was about 45 years old and was definitely the youngest person in the 6 ministries. Lord Shang, who doesn't know that you and the second prince are related by blood? You suddenly took out an imperial edict that we did not know about. Do you really think we're that easy to fool? Someone immediately questioned. I think the 5th prince is not bad. He has already obtained the right to enter Mount Amei. When he returns from his cultivation, it is not bad to pass the throne to him. I support the eldest prince more. It is perfectly justifiable. Support the second prince. The emperors will not be fake. These 2 days, the civil and military officials did not think about the emperor's funeral. They were all arguing about who should take the throne. It was almost to the point of a fight. Other than the Grand Preceptor, there were also Prime Minister Song, Wu Sanhao, and Third Master Qiao. Prime Minister Song was the prime minister of the dynasty. He was the emperor's most capable minister when he was alive. At least half of the civil officials were his favorite students. There was no need to mention Wu Sanhao. He had led 100,000 soldiers to surround the city. As long as he gave the order, he could flatten the city. Fortunately, he hadn't said anything. Qiao Sinyi glared at him, so he didn't say anything. Third Master Qiao was more inclined towards the first prince. The first prince was kind-hearted, but it was a pity that his methods were lacking. He was too honest, and it would be difficult for him to control the officials when he took the throne. The second prince's character was not good. The third prince and the fourth prince had already been killed by the rebels. The fifth prince had luckily escaped. He was at a disadvantage in terms of age, and he did not have enough support. Currently, the battle between the first prince and the second prince was the most intense, and they had the most support. Once they made their stance known, the final direction would be decided. Everyone, stop arguing. Let's listen to Prime Minister Song and Prince Wu's opinions. An official said. Now it was finally time for the main event. Which prince would receive the approval of these top officials? Wu Sanhao was the first to speak. I don't care which prince becomes the emperor. It's fine as long as he has Tang blood. His words made it clear that he was in the middle. He did not support any of the princes. I think the first prince is very suitable. He is also the eldest son, so he should be the new emperor. I have never seen the emperor's will, so it's not trustworthy. Third Master Qiao snorted with dissatisfaction. He actually hoped that Wu Sanhao would support the first prince. Grand Tutor Qiao, that's not right. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is an imperial edict, and we cannot go against it. Shang Liu responded in a neutral tone. Third Master Qiao was the emperor's teacher. He had a very high status, but unfortunately, he didn't have any real power. Now that the emperor had left, Shang Liu was even less afraid of him. Lord Shang, everyone knows how the second prince's character compares to the first prince. Moreover, you are the second prince's uncle. It's natural for you to protect him, but I will never agree. Third Master Qiao fumed with anger. Grand Tutor Qiao, us old officials should agree with the emperor's decision. I support the second prince. Song Lirue said indifferently. After he spoke, many civil officials began to agree with him. It was clear how powerful his appeal was. Without Great General Luo Gongming, there were not many people who could speak for the military officers. Their opinions were ignored. The civil officials had the final say in many important matters of the imperial court. Chao Jianda hesitated and said, "Shouldn't we listen to the empress's opinion?" Just as he finished speaking, someone said, "I don't think it's necessary. We, the Medicine King Pavilion, support the second prince." Unknowingly, the Medicine King Pavilion's pavilion master, Yao Lingyu, walked in from outside the hall. Beside him was a mysterious person wearing a cloak. Yao Yanhai was dead, but the Medicine King Pavilion hadn't disbanded. Their position in Great Xia hadn't been shaken. Yao Lingyu's words still carried considerable weight. You people don't follow the ancient teachings and play the zither recklessly. Only the first prince can become the emperor. Old Grand Tutor Hua said agitatedly. Perhaps because Old Grand Tutor Hua was too agitated, he couldn't catch his breath. His eyes rolled back, and he actually fainted on the spot. This time, many people were scared out of their wits. Old Grand Tutor Hua isn't young anymore. He should have stayed at home for 1,000 years. What's the point of meddling in the affairs of the imperial court? Someone sneered. Third Master Qiao and Old Grand Preceptor Hua had a grudge against each other, but that was all in the past. Now, they were both worried about the important matters of the imperial court. Seeing someone laughing at Old Grand Preceptor Hua, Third Master Qiao threw the 2 jade balls in his hands at the official and shouted, "How dare you mock me? Do you want all of us old bones to die so that you can take control of the imperial court and overthrow it?" The official was hit by Third Master Qiao's jade balls and was in great pain. He wanted to curse back, but he didn't dare. Wu Sanhao's sharp eyes made him panic. The emperor's body hasn't even been cold yet, and you're already making a ruckus here. Don't you feel ashamed? Yang Jinnan, who hadn't spoken until now, said faintly. Although he was an earl, he no longer had an official position. In fact, he couldn't discuss matters in the imperial court. It was only because he had protected the emperor that he was allowed to stay. Everyone's eyes fell on Yang Jinnan. For a moment, they didn't know how to respond. Yao Lingyu and the Yang family had an irreconcilable feud. He said loudly, "The country can't go a day without a ruler. Only when a new ruler is chosen can we preside over the emperor's funeral. I suggest that the second prince ascend the throne immediately." Then he pointed at Yang Jinnan and asked, "Yang Jinnan, I heard that you were the first to know that there was a rebellion. Is that true?" Yang Jinnan didn't even look at Yao Lingyu. He replied, "Yes. That night, did you force your way into the palace?" Yao Lingyu asked again. "Yes." Yang Jinnan's expression was normal as he replied. He knew that the other party was here to cause trouble. "It's good that you admitted it. In fact, you're also a rebel. Everyone, quickly take him down," Yao Lingyu said with certainty. This time, everyone was stunned. Yao Lingyu didn't have much skill in slandering this person. He had tried his best to protect the emperor and was almost killed. Now he was accusing him of being a rebel. Did he think they were retarded? If you want to avenge your father, then say it. Why do you have to accuse me of something like this? Do you think everyone is blind? Yang Jinnan replied domineeringly. "Haha, do you think I said that on purpose?" Yao Lingyu laughed. He then said to the mysterious person next to him, "Jiang Kong, you can testify for me." The mysterious person stood up and took off his cloak, revealing his true face. He was a middle-aged man with a cut on his face. The hideous scar was shocking to look at. Anyone who saw it would feel afraid and disgusted. Jiang Kong knelt on the spot and said, Jiang Kong greets Darren. Jiang Kong, the housekeeper of Prince Fu In's mansion? Song Xiang asked in doubt. Yes, this lowly one is the housekeeper of Prince Fu In's mansion. This lowly one did not know about Prince Fu In's rebellion. But the night before the rebellion, I saw young Darren and Prince Fu and had a private meeting. I also vaguely heard that Prince Fu and wanted to kill all the members of the royal family. After this lowly one heard it, he was so scared that he fled the mansion overnight. However, I was soon caught by Prince Fuin. My face was cut off. I was imprisoned. Fortunately, Medicine Pavilion Master saved me. Jiang Kong said while trembling. Yang Jinan, what else do you have to say? Yao Lingyu once again questioned Yang Jinan. Yao Lingyu, you have a problem with your brain. Yang Jinan said while pointing his finger at Yao Lingyu. Yang Jinan. Yao Lingyu's eyes almost spewed out fire. He looked at the others and said, Jiang Kong is the housekeeper of Prince Fu In's mansion. You don't believe his words? Everyone knows that my Yang family and Prince Fu are not on good terms. You still want to throw this matter on me? I have to say, you really have a problem with your brain. Yang Jinan emphasized again. The others also thought the same. Yao Lingyu did not do a good job. No, Prince Fu is not on bad terms with you. All of this is just a trick between you and Prince Fu and was also used by you. You want to be the emperor. Jiang Kong shouted. This time, everyone's mind was shaken. This time, the Yang family was in the limelight. If the Yang family wanted to be the emperor, it will not be difficult. Song Lue said to Wu Sanhao, Wu Wangye, whether this is the truth or not, please take him down first. Yes, Yang Jinan is a big suspect. Shang Liu quickly said. Then, several people followed and pointed their spears at Yang Jinan. Yang Jinan frowned and straightened his body, then said, I, Yang Jinan, have a clear conscience. If that's the case, Ben Wang will take care of you first. When you are cleared of your crimes, Ben Wang will let you go. Wu Sanhao said. At this time, a voice sounded outside the door. Who dares to touch my father? Ben Wang will kill his 9 generations. Chapter 4:18. Yang Wu was not a person who was easily angered. However, as long as someone touched his bottom line, no matter who it was, he would fight them to the death. Wu Sanhao was a famous general and was also a prince. He was already one of the top figures in the hall. He even brought 100,000 soldiers to besiege the city. Who would dare to say that they wanted to kill his entire family? Even when Yao Yanhai was alive, he did not dare to speak to Wu Sanhao like this. Wu Sanhao turned his head to look at the 2 people who walked in. His old eyes flashed with admiration as he praised them in his heart. What a pair of golden boy and jade girl. Wu Sanhao was experienced and had a good eye for people. From the temperament and appearance of the young boy and girl in front of him, he could tell that this young boy and girl were different. Even if they spoke rudely to him, he still felt that they were not bad. After Yao Lingyu saw Yang Wu, his eyes burned with anger. He wanted nothing more than to rush up and fight Yang Wu to the death. Yang Wu, you've guts. No wonder you are the son of a traitor. You even dare to kill Prince Wu's entire family. You really don't know the difference between life and death. Yao Lingyu sneered. Another general shouted, quickly kneel and beg for mercy or die. This general was Wu Sanhao's right-hand man. He was already a lieutenant general and had followed Wu Sanhao back from the border. He was the most protective of his master. There were also a few people who began to criticize Yang Wu. They believed that Yang Wu would not dare to act recklessly here. Yang Wu completely ignored their words. He stared at Wu Sanhao and said, Elder, I advise you not to be used as a tool. Otherwise, you will lose your integrity in your later years. Yang Wu's words were full of warning. The other party was wearing a yellow dragon robe that belonged to a prince. He could tell that the other party was not ordinary, but did he care? He had already offended the people of Mauname, so he did not care about offending others. Moreover, there were some things that he did not take the initiative to provoke, but things always came to him. His deterrence was not enough. How many years has it been since someone dared to speak to me like this? You're the first. Not bad, not bad. Wu Sanhao laughed and said, Your Highness, This general will take him down. The general beside Wu Sanhao said. This general's name was Lei Deming, and he had a strong appearance. He wore a thick armor and looked very mighty. He stared at Yang Wu with an extremely unfriendly gaze. Wu Sanhao waved his hand and said, "This little brother stood up for his father and is worthy of praise. This offense will be decided after today's decision on who will be the new empress." "Your Highness is magnanimous." Yao Lingyu flattered. "Your Highness is magnanimous." The others followed suit. Yang Wu didn't think that the other party would actually be able to endure it. He couldn't help but have a higher opinion of this tall old man. He didn't continue to argue with the other party. He swept his gaze over the civil and military officials and said, "Are you all blind? Don't you see the princess?" With Yang Wu's reminder, the civil and military officials looked at Tang Xiaohan and bowed. "Greetings, Your Highness. Long live Your Highness." Tang Xiaohan calmly accepted their greetings and slowly walked towards the highest throne. When she arrived in front of the throne, she knelt down in front of the throne and kowtowed to the ground. Pung, pung, pung. Tang Xiaohan kowtowed 3 times, and each kowtow was very strong. Her delicate forehead began to bleed, making everyone who saw it feel very pained. The civil and military officials didn't know what Tang Xiaohan meant by this. They just thought that she was missing the previous emperor. "Father Emperor, this child is unfilial. I still haven't been able to bury you." "Father Emperor, this child is unfilial. The traitor's family is still out there. I still haven't been able to kill them and bury them with you." "Father Emperor, this child is unfilial. The court is without a leader and imperial city is in chaos. I can't help you restore order and intimidate the officials." Tang Xiaohan's words came from the bottom of her heart. Every word stabbed into the hearts of the officials in front of her, making their faces feel hot. The emperor was dead, and he hadn't been buried yet. To start fighting for his throne, this was a great disrespect. Well said. Xiao Xinyi couldn't help but agree with Tang Xiaohan's words. He then said, "The most important thing right now is to bury the emperor." "That's fine," Song Xiang muttered to himself before responding. Then let's bury the emperor first. We old officials are in the wrong," Wu Sanhao said with a bit of self-blame. Yang Wu walked to Tang Xiaohan's side. He looked back at the civil and military officials and faintly said, "It's too late to think about these things now." "Marquis Yang Wu, why do you say this?" an official asked. "Since you want to choose a new emperor, then choose one now," Yang Wu said with certainty. "Humph, if we could choose one now, then the officials wouldn't be fighting here." Yao Lingyu coldly snorted. He then said, "Do you want to be the new emperor?" Just as he finished speaking, Yang Wu disappeared from where he was standing. Without waiting for everyone to react, they heard a crisp pop sound, followed by a pitiful scream. These 2 screams scared everyone out of their wits. "I killed your father, but killing you is even easier. So don't test my patience." Yang Wu returned to his original position as if he hadn't moved. He stared at Yao Lingyu, who had been sent flying. Yang Wu's killing intent had already spread out. The civil and military officials present felt a chill. They didn't doubt that Yang Wu would really kill. This youth's strength was much stronger than theirs. Yao Lingyu was so scared that he didn't dare to speak. The hatred in his eyes was even stronger. In his heart, he thought, "Yang Wu, I will make sure you die a horrible death." "Wu, don't be rude," Yang Jinan reprimanded. "Father, you don't have to worry about this. Didn't they say that our Yang clan is rebelling? Why don't they open their eyes and see who the real traitor is? Someone led 100,000 soldiers to surround the city. Isn't this a big traitor?" Yang Wu pointed at Wu Sanhao and scolded him. He then pointed at Yao Lingyu and said, "How many alchemists do the Medicine King Pavilion take for their own use? They even threatened the imperial court to supply them with herbs. If they don't, they won't refine pills for the imperial court. My Yang clan has been loyal for generations, desperately protecting the emperor. Were you all sleeping? Who is the real traitor? Are your brains clamped?" Yang Wu scolded the officials until their faces turned red. They didn't know how to refute, especially Wu Sanhao. Everyone knew that he had 100,000 soldiers surrounding the city, but because of his status, everyone wanted to curry favor with him. Who would dare to say no to him? Yang Wu said it in front of everyone. It was a solid slap in the face. Although Wu Sanhao didn't care about being scolded, it was the first time he was scolded like this. Late Deming shouted, "Bastard, I'll kill you." After saying this, he prepared to draw his sword and kill Yang Wu. Before he could draw his sword, Wu Sanhao stopped him and said, "You are not his opponent. Withdraw." "Prince, this brat dares to scold you. If I don't kill him, it will be hard to vent the hatred in my heart." Lei Deming responded. Other military officials also rubbed their feet, wanting to stand up for Wu Sanhao. "You're called Yang Wu, right? I've heard of you. You're young and promising, full of vigor. But have you ever heard of the saying that too much is easy to break?" Wu Sanhao calmly looked at Yang Wu and asked. Yang Wu met Wu Sanhao's gaze and said, "A traitor shouldn't talk to this prince about grand principles. How do you want to play? If I, Yang Wu, was afraid of your 100,000 soldiers, I wouldn't stand up to scold you." As he spoke, he took the initiative to take a step closer to Wu Sanhao. The power in his body was operating at its fastest speed. At this time, Tang Xiaohan opened her mouth and said, "Yang Wu, you mustn't be rude to Prince Wu." When Yang Wu heard Tang Xiaohan's words, he stopped and looked back at Tang Xiaohan, then said, "Princess, you have the final say." After that, he returned to Tang Xiaohan's side, as if he was Tang Xiaohan's superior. Tang Xiaohan looked at Wu Sanhao and asked, "Prince Wu, you brought so many soldiers to besiege the capital. If you're not going to rebel, then what are you going to do?" Wu Sanhao didn't know how to answer Tang Xiaohan's question. Is it to say that he brought so many soldiers to help Prince Fu win, or to save the emperor? No matter how he answers, he can't escape from the name of a traitor. While Wu Sanhao was speaking, Tang Xiaohan said, "Prince Wu, if I ask you to help me find Prince Fuin's family, are you willing to do it?" Wu Sanhao didn't even think about it and said, "Just leave this matter to this humble servant. Even if I have to dig 3 inches in the ground, I will find them all." Wu Sanhao surrendered. This time, all the ministers were dumbfounded. Wu Sanhao was the king of the opposite sex. He had a high position and power. His position here was only higher than people like Prime Minister Song and Grand Preceptor Hua. His position was very important, but he was subdued by the princess with just a few words. It's hard for them to believe this is the truth. Then I will trouble Prince Wu," Tang Xiaohan softly said. Then she looked at Prime Minister Song and said, "Prime Minister Song, my father relied on you the most during his lifetime. You were in charge of all the major and minor matters in the court. This time, Prince Fuin rebelled and damaged the palace. How about you follow up with the follow-up repair?" "Princess, the most important thing now is to bury the emperor," Prime Minister Song responded. Tang Xiaohan asked again, "I just want to ask you, will you take this matter or not?" Prime Minister Song hesitated for a moment, then said, "This humble servant will obey." Prime Minister Song was very aggrieved. He is the dignified prime minister. How can this kind of repair work be handled by him? This is the Ministry of Work's job. Imperial Tutor Xiao, my father's funeral will be handed over to you. Tang Xiaohan looked at Xiao Sanyi and slightly bowed. Xiao Sanyi hurriedly returned the courtesy and said, "Princess is too serious. This is this humble servant's duty." Tang Xiaohan then looked at the officials and said, "My imperial father has just been killed by the rebels. Everyone is anxious to elect a new emperor. If my imperial father knew of everyone's patriotism in the underworld, he would definitely be very comforted. However, shouldn't you all first pacify the people and suppress the rumors from spreading? The people are in a panic. They don't know what happened. I'm afraid the capital is already in a mess. I'm afraid the other cities will also be in turmoil. Don't you know this?" She said with a strong sense of righteousness, which made the officials feel ashamed. "Well said. I will protect the princess and become the new emperor." A voice sounded. Chapter 419. I will protect the princess to become the new empress. This voice reverberated throughout the throne room. All the civil and military officials could hear it clearly. It was deafening. They were all thinking about which prince to push onto the throne. Now, someone was pushing the princess onto the throne. There had never been an empress in the history of the Grand Xia dynasty. The person who spoke was a bit dramatic. When they all looked at Yang Wu, the words that were about to come out of their mouths were swallowed back. They didn't want to provoke this fiend. Yang Wu was young and promising, but at the same time, he was young and frivolous. Provoking him didn't end well. Yao Lingyu was one such example. Marquis Xiaowu, your words are child's play. Song Xiang took the initiative to say what everyone was thinking. Grand Preceptor Hua also woke up and said, "That's right. There has never been an empress in the history of the Grand Xia dynasty. It's better for the princess to be a princess." Yang Wu, your intentions are hateful. Yao Lingyu continued to reprimand Yang Wu. The other officials all objected to Yang Wu's suggestion. Wu Sanhao and Xiao Sen didn't say anything. They wanted to see how Yang Wu would respond. Tang Xiaoan also didn't expect Yang Wu to suddenly say this. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Yang Wu, but she quickly restrained herself. She didn't say anything and treated herself as an outsider. Yang Wu looked at the people around him and revealed a domineering expression. "I'm not asking for your opinions right now. I am using the name of the Yang clan and my name as a heavenly alchemist to support the princess to become the new empress. Other than her, I don't think anyone else has the ability to take over this position." He paused for a moment and said, "When the emperor was in trouble, it was the princess who rushed to the front lines to fight against the rebels. Where are the other princes? Now that the emperor has passed away for a few days, which prince dares to take on the responsibility of handling the emperor's funeral? Every prince is a coward and can't bear the heavy responsibility. Only the princess can sit on the throne." Yang Wu's voice was full of energy and sonorous, expressing his determination. Yang Jinan said without hesitation, "My Yang clan fully supports the princess to become the new empress. As the saying goes, father and son soldiers always go to war. Everyone can see clearly that they want to be the retired emperor." Jiang Kong, after receiving Yao Lingyu's gaze, he raised his head and shouted again. Just as Jiang Kong finished speaking, Yang Wu stretched out his hand and grabbed. A powerful force was sucked towards Jiang Kong. Jiang Kang's body involuntarily flew in front of Yang Wu. Yang Wu grabbed Jiang Kang's neck. Jiang Kong was so scared that he peed on the spot. "Gotcha!" Yang Wu didn't even say a word to him and broke Jiang Kang's neck on the spot. Yao Lingyu's asterisk 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 S star. Asterisk 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 Yao Lingyu's asterisk S star. T. Really be, house, you. After saying that, he walked towards Yao Lingyu, looking like he was going to kill Yao Lingyu to silence him. Yao Lingyu was so scared that he trembled. He hurriedly retreated and shouted, "Lord Eagle Emperor, what are you waiting for?" Just as his voice fell, there was a burst of eagle cries outside the hall. Yo! It was unknown when, but 8 eagle demons had flown in from outside the throne room. Their bodies were emitting a dense aura of demon kings. When they spread their wings, they covered the sky. There was a person standing on each of their backs. The person standing on the largest eagle demon was the most eye-catching. He was an old man with short hair, a strong physique, and eagle-like eyes. 2 strands of white eyebrows that fell to his chest fluttered in the wind. White-browed Eagle King. No, he should be called White-browed Eagle Emperor now. He had already broken through the heavenly fish realm and was one of the top figures in the Xia Kingdom. The leader of the previous generation's 10 great kings, the commander of the Eagle Cavalry, White-browed Eagle Emperor. He had already left the imperial court to cultivate in seclusion and no longer cared about worldly affairs. Who would have thought that he would appear today? The current commander of the Eagle Cavalry, Little Eagle King Guo Shiling, was White-browed Eagle Emperor's disciple. Guo Shiling had already died on the day Shui Gui returned to the imperial city. The 8 eagle riders landed at the same time, their wings flapping, causing the dust to fly. White-browed Eagle Emperor wore an ordinary robe with a pair of black eagle claws hanging from his waist. He walked into the throne room with heavy steps. The civil and military officials immediately felt an overwhelming pressure. It was as if an eagle was looking down on them, ready to launch a fatal attack at any time. Wu Sanhao looked back at White-browed Eagle Emperor and said, "White-browed old man, you're still alive. Isn't it easy for Lord Wu to kill me? White-browed Eagle Emperor faced Wu Sanhao and replied, White-browed old man, your mouth is still so sharp. Wu Sanhao sneered. White-browed Eagle Emperor did not argue with Wu Sanhao. Instead, he looked at Yao Lingyu and said, Lingyu is the person who killed your father. White-browed Eagle Emperor and Yao Yanhai were sworn brothers. This was something that all of the upper echelons of the imperial city knew. It was because of their existence that the imperial family was afraid of them. Today, Yao Lingyu dared to scold Yang Jinan and Yang Wu because he had something to rely on. He wanted to take revenge for his father, so he invited white-browed Eagle Emperor out of seclusion. Uncle, it's him. Yao Lingyu pointed at Yang Wu and said. White-browed Eagle Emperor looked at Yang Wu. Yang Wu also looked at him. The two sharp gazes collided. The younger generation will surpass us in time. Those who killed my sworn brother will die. White-browed Eagle Emperor shouted and reached out a claw at Yang Wu. He grabbed at Yang Wu's neck, wanted to capture and kill Yang Wu. Wu Sanhao moved to stop White-browed Eagle Emperor and said, White-browed, this is not the place for you to cause trouble. Wu Sanhao, you want to stop me? White-browed Eagle Emperor stared back at Wu Sanhao and said, Who doesn't know that your white-browed eagle claw technique is unparalleled? I have no interest in stopping you, but this is the palace. Can you bear the responsibility if it is destroyed? Wu Sanhao said, Killing a brat who is still wet behind the ears. Can it destroy this place? What a joke. White-browed Eagle Emperor coldly replied, You want to see Yao Yanhai? I'll give you a chance. Let's fight outside the palace. I'll use you to establish my might. Today I, Yang Wu, will help the princess become the empress. Yang Wu said forcefully and walked out of the palace, giving white-browed Eagle Emperor a chance to kill him. White-browed Eagle Emperor did not think that this youth would have this kind of confidence. His old eyes flashed with a trace of worry. Before he came here, he had a clear understanding of Yang Wu's situation. Not only could Yang Wu fight against a heavenly fish realm cultivator, he was also accompanied by a heavenly fish realm cultivator who was suspected to be someone from the transcendent realm. White-browed Eagle Emperor came in to gain the upper hand by a show of strength and intimidate Yang Wu. He did not want Yang Wu to turn the tables on him. However, who was white-browed Eagle Emperor? He was able to secretly help the Medicine King Pavilion reach its current level. What kind of confidence did he have? He walked out in high spirits and said, I've offended everyone today, but I must avenge my sworn brother. At this time, Tang Xiaoan stared at white-browed Eagle Emperor and said, Yang Wu is my savior and is also the #1 contributor in killing the rebels. Whoever wants to deal with him is also dealing with our royal family. Who would have thought that the princess would suddenly speak like this? This gave everyone a fright. No one knows when, but Shi Yinzhen came out from a corner and said, We, the Imperial College, support the princess's decision. Shi Yinzhen, the dean of the Imperial College. On the night of Prince Fu An's rebellion, they came too late. They were already quite a distance away from the imperial city, and Wu Sanhao was guarding outside with 100,000 soldiers. He had already sealed off the news in the imperial city, delaying their rescue. By the time they arrived, everything was already set in stone. Shi Yinzhen did not leave the imperial palace. He also wanted to know the changes in the imperial palace. Shi Yinzhen appreciated the princess's words very much. Yang Wu's proposal for her to be the empress might be a good choice. Shi Yinzhen's appearance changed the situation in the imperial palace. Everyone looked at the princess in a different light. The Imperial College held a lot of weight in Xia. 70% to 80% of the civil and military officials had studied in the Imperial College. This kind of feeling could not be erased. Song Xiang had a trace of worry on his face. This situation was going a bit wrong. White-browed Eagle Emperor frowned, but he still resolutely walked out of the Imperial Palace. He was provoked by a junior, so he must make a strong response. White-browed Eagle Emperor walked out of the Imperial Palace. Yang Wu was already waiting outside. He looked at white-browed Eagle Emperor and said, If you want to take revenge for Yao Yanhai, then come at me. I don't mind sending another heavenly fish realm cultivator to hell. After pausing for a moment, he said, The emperor's bones are not cold yet, but one by one, they jumped out to make trouble. Today, this subject will clean up these disloyal subjects for the emperor. White-browed eagle emperor said with a calm face, "You are so young, but you are already so arrogant. Maybe the emperor's death is related to you. Today, I will kill you and let you accompany the emperor in death. Master, to deal with such a brat, you don't need to do anything. Why don't I take care of him for you?" White-browed eagle emperor's disciple asked. "If you can deal with him, this master will not need to do anything." White-browed eagle emperor said, "Imperial City has just experienced a rebellion. Everyone can't just focus on the big picture." Xiao Xin advised, "Let them fight. If we don't fight, we won't be able to determine the new emperor." Wu Sanhao said from aside. Xiao Xin thought for a moment and could only sigh. The great Xia is in turmoil. "It's all your fault, Wu Sanhao. After this incident, hand over your military power to the new emperor." "Even if you didn't say it, I would have done so," Wu Sanhao replied. "Hurry up and accept your death. Let's fight to decide everything." Yang Wu pointed at white-browed eagle emperor and issued another challenge. "Since you're in such a hurry to die, this old man will fulfill your wish." White-browed eagle emperor replied and began to attack Yang Wu. White-browed eagle emperor was a legendary figure like the Battle King of Death. However, white-browed eagle emperor had become famous earlier than the Battle King of Death. His eagle claw technique was invincible, and he had killed many experts who had been famous for a long time. He hadn't appeared for a long time and wasn't as simple as a heavenly fish realm cultivator. Now, he could use Yang Wu to establish his might. Could Yang Wu win against white-browed eagle emperor? Chapter 420. This time, Yang Wu didn't want to fight, but he had to. The first reason was for himself and also for the Yang family. Yao Lingyu had invited such a super expert, which meant that he wanted to fight to the death with him. He might as well fight to the end. The second reason was for Tang Xiaoan. He wanted to help her become the new empress. Yang Wu still had Meng Bingxue by his side. She could fight for him, but he wouldn't ask her to do it. He couldn't expect to be under her protection for the rest of his life. Sooner or later, she would recover her soul. He had to be independent. Perhaps one day, he would help her solve the tragedy that had happened to her. No matter how strong the white-browed eagle emperor was, it was just a whetstone in his eyes. If little He was here, it would also agree with him. Yang Wu opened a pair of sapphire blue profound wings and soared into the sky. He held the double-blade, triple dragon spear in his hands and was in his best state. At this time, the white-browed eagle emperor spread his wings like a goshawk. He instantly soared into the sky, and an eagle claw instantly grabbed at Yang Wu's vital point. As fast as lightning, with irresistible force. Only these words could describe how powerful the white-browed eagle emperor's attack was. Yang Wu was already prepared, but his reaction wasn't fast enough. His chest was fiercely torn open, and blood splashed out. He was in so much pain that he took in a cold breath. "Kill!" The white-browed eagle emperor was a man of few words. He only spat out one word, and his claws slashed out again and again. Many claw marks crisscrossed, and he wanted to tear Yang Wu to pieces. This was the power of a mid-level heavenly fish. It was far stronger than the Death War King, Yao Yanhai, and the others. This was the white-browed eagle emperor's realm. Eagle Claw. This was the white-browed eagle emperor's famous battle skill. It was originally just an ordinary general skill, but after he constantly imitated the attacks of the eagle demons and constantly improved, he created his own unique eagle claw, which was even more powerful. The power of each claw was like the flash of a blade or the shadow of a sword. The sharp power was hard to block. Yang Wu used all his defensive powers to form a blue ice crystal king armor to protect his vitals, but was still unable to stop the white-browed eagle emperor's claw power. Many of the ice crystal king armor were torn to pieces, and his body was once again covered in wounds. It was a tragic sight. Yang Jinan watched from below, his eyes filled with worry. Seeing his son being hurt like this, how could he not be heartbroken as a father? He only hated that he did not have the ability to shield his son from this pain. He really overestimates himself. Yao Lingyu sneered in his heart. His father's death was a huge blow to the Medicine King Pavilion. He had to kill Yang Wu, so he went to invite the white-browed Eagle Emperor out and intimidate the others again, letting them know that the Medicine King Pavilion was still not something that anyone could provoke. This old man is so strong. Yang Wu was overconfident. He had underestimated the white-browed Eagle Emperor's strength. However, he would not allow the white-browed Eagle Emperor to kill him. He activated the god's court Tao flower and released the Tao of Death. He had to rely on this trump card to counterattack. The Tao of Death condensed into an aura that enveloped heaven and earth, affecting the white-browed Eagle Emperor. However, the white-browed Eagle Emperor was worthy of being in existence at the intermediate heavenly fish realm. His willpower was not something an ordinary person could compare to. When he felt that his life force was threatened, he immediately retreated to avoid being affected. The white-browed Eagle Emperor was very experienced. When he retreated, he did not forget to claw continuously, continuing to cause great damage to Yang Wu, not giving Yang Wu a chance to breathe. The white-browed Eagle Emperor's claw power seeped into Yang Wu's organs and bones. If this continued, he would definitely die. He activated his war blood talent and swung out the double-blade three-dragon spear with all his strength. The power of the spear continued to bombard the white-browed Eagle Emperor's attacks. Final struggle. The white-browed Eagle Emperor opened up enough distance and sneered disdainfully. His eagle claws slashed out wave after wave, as if he wanted to tear the heaven and earth into pieces. This kind of power was not something any king could block. Even elementary heavenly fish realm would be torn apart. This eagle claw contained a unique demonic aura. This was the talent the white-browed Eagle Emperor had obtained from refining the essence blood of an eagle demon in his early years. Yang Wu could not hold back against such a powerful expert. He activated his ice blade wings and attacked the white-browed Eagle Emperor. The ice blade wings had two abilities. One was to grow out directly as wings. The other was to become invisible blades that could kill without leaving a trace. Now, Yang Wu was using the second ability to attack the white-browed Eagle Emperor. The ice blade wings contained an extremely cold ice chi and slashed towards the white-browed Eagle Emperor with unparalleled speed and lethality. Even if the white-browed Eagle Emperor had astonishing fighting strength and fast reactions, he did not expect Yang Wu to be able to unleash such an astonishing counterattack. When the heavenly scale feather armor on his body was cut by the ice blade wings, he finally reacted. The powerful, profound chi shook the ice blade wings away. "What the hell is this?" the white-browed Eagle Emperor exclaimed. The ice blade wings were a part of Yang Wu's body. They were completely under his control and continued to attack from different directions. It was incomparably sharp and could even break through the white-browed Eagle Emperor's defense. The only thing lacking was that its attack power was not enough to injure the white-browed Eagle Emperor. Every time the ice blade wings cut through the white-browed Eagle Emperor's heavenly scale feather armor, they would be shaken away by him. Furthermore, they would even block the ice blade wings. Yang Wu used this short respite to circulate the supreme 9 profound arts to recover his body and counterattack. "I can't hold back anymore." Yang Wu took a deep breath. The soul eye in his body corresponded with the eye of the Earth Sea. The heaven and earth mystic bridge appeared again. It could absorb the heaven and earth mystic chi around him. Not only could it heal his injuries quickly, it could also increase his strength, allowing him to unleash fighting strength comparable to the heavenly fish realm. The first style of the Yang Clan spear technique, White Snake's Tongue. The Yang Clan spear technique was also known as the Rebel Dragon spear technique. It was the Yang Clan's signature heaven skill. When Yang Jinan took out the Rebel Dragon spear technique, he memorized the chant with Yang Wu. Yang Wu cultivated this spear technique through meditation. Now that he was facing the white-browed Eagle Emperor, it was time to show off the might of their Yang Clan spear technique. Yang Wu's mystic essence, Qi, combined with the heaven and earth mystic Qi within a quarter-mile radius. It pierced out a long snake shadow and attacked the white-browed Eagle Emperor. Just as the snake's tongue was about to bind the white-browed Eagle Emperor, the white-browed Eagle Emperor grabbed out with his bare hands. The eagle claw's power could tear mountains and split rivers, shattering the attack. Child's play. The white-browed Eagle Emperor still did not put Yang Wu in his eyes. After he said that, the image of an eagle appeared on his body. His mystic wings flapped in the air like an eagle's wings. His mystic chi turned into feathers and attacked Yang Wu wildly. The second style of the Yang clan's spear technique. Flood Dragon leaves the water. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and continued to fight. He definitely wanted to push his potential to the limit. Rumble, rumble. The two forces continued to bombard each other. Wave after wave of energy spread out in all directions in the sky. There was even some residual energy that fell down. It was likely that it would affect everything in the Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace's formation had already been repaired, and it once again displayed its power. It covered the entire sky, blocking the residual energy. Yang Wu used all his strength, but he was still being suppressed by the white-browed Eagle Emperor. Even the double-edged three-dragon spear in his hands was knocked away. Bloody wounds appeared on his arms, and even his bones could be seen clearly. The battle prowess of the two was not on the same level. It was very difficult for Yang Wu to win. The white-browed Eagle Emperor became more and more alarmed. He did not feel excited because he was suppressing Yang Wu. Instead, he felt that Yang Wu was very powerful. He was only at the high level of the Earthsea realm, but he could already erupt with power that could challenge him. If he was allowed to advance further, wouldn't he be no match for him? I must eliminate him completely. The white-browed Eagle Emperor wiped away his killing intent and continued to increase the power of his attacks. He wanted to tear Yang Wu to shreds on the spot. Yang Wu could not block such a sharp attack. He still did not ask Meng Bingxue for help. He roared, and the battle blood in his body continued to surge. The image of a dragon turtle appeared behind him, and the acupuncture points on his arms emitted an astonishing power as he fought back with all his strength. Dragon Turtle Sea-Turning Technique. As Yang Wu's strength increased, the power of this move had reached an astonishing level. It was as if the world had been turned upside down by him. The power was astonishing. Aside from the fact that he had cultivated this move to the proficient level, it was also because of the battle blood and barbarian god's arms. He was attacking without holding back. The white-browed Eagle Emperor frowned. He could feel that Yang Wu's fighting strength was limitless. This move actually gave him a sense of oppression. He increased his strength and slashed with his claws again. He seemed to have turned into a 1,000-year-old Eagle Emperor. His 10 fingers were like sharp claws, and he swooped down from the sky as if he was catching prey. When the two forces collided, the scene of the dragon turtle being caught by the eagle appeared in the sky. The dragon turtle was not as strong as the eagle. Tao of death. The aura of death spread out once again. The dragon turtle turned into a dead turtle, and the eagle would also suffer from a backlash. Tao of death is really difficult to deal with. The white-browed Eagle Emperor exclaimed inwardly. He had no choice but to retreat from the range of Yang Wu's aura of death. The Tao of death was very disruptive to him, and he was afraid that he would fail miserably. Yang Wu's appearance was very miserable. There were claw marks all over his body, and he was covered in blood. Many of his bones could be seen. This was definitely the most difficult battle he had ever fought. The difference in strength is too great. There's really no way to make up for it. Yang Wu thought to himself dejectedly. He thought that he could kill the white-browed Eagle Emperor with his various trump cards, but he was too naive. At this moment, the ice blade wings appeared on his back. The two pairs of wings showed that he was different from the others. The white-browed Eagle Emperor took out the battle claws at his waist and said with narrowed eyes, "You forced me to use my weapon. You can die proud." Eagle claw tearing the sky. Soul, eye deprivation. Chapter 4:21. The Imperial Palace was the Emperor's territory, and this place was sacred and inviolable. No one was allowed to fly here, and it was even more impossible to fight in the sky. The Emperor had just been killed, and a new Emperor had yet to be chosen. There was already internal strife, and someone was openly fighting fiercely in the sky above the Imperial Palace. This had already crossed the imperial family's bottom line, but they were completely helpless now. After this battle, the new emperor would definitely be chosen. Judging from the current situation, the new emperor would most likely be a puppet, and it would still take some time for him to intimidate the civil and military officials. If he couldn't intimidate them, Great Xia would be in turmoil for a long time, and Great Xia's fate might come to an end because of this. The civil and military officials all raised their heads to look at the battle in the sky. Looking at the exciting and intense battle, their eyes were filled with incomparable reverence. Reaching the heavenly fish realm was a super expert in their eyes, and they could completely disregard the rules of the mortal world. It was more appropriate for them to head to the transcendental realm to compete. The white-browed Eagle Emperor was suppressing Yang Wu. Although the white-browed Eagle Emperor's battle prowess was acknowledged by everyone, Yang Wu's performance also stunned them. They knew that Yang Wu was very strong, but they didn't know that he was strong to such an extent. He was simply like a cockroach that couldn't be killed, crawling up again and striking out with incomparably stunning power. No one would think that this was something that a youth who wasn't even 18 years old could do. The power of the two people's battle was like a collision of storms, sweeping up this part of heaven and earth. Fortunately, with the protection of the Heaven Grade Formation, they were able to watch the battle safely from below. Yang Wu and the white-browed Eagle Emperor had fought to the point of desperation. Who would be able to kill who? Yang Wu's third eye appeared, and a beam of soul light shot toward the white-browed Eagle Emperor in an instant. This soul light contained an indescribable power, and it unleashed a certain kind of ability that others would never have imagined. The white-browed Eagle Emperor used his battle weapon. This was a heavenly weapon that was specially made from the claws of a heavenly eagle. It could increase his power, and it could tear apart everything. When he clawed out, several frightening cracks broke open this part of heaven and earth. Such terrifying strength was sufficient to crush a mountain into powder on the spot. How could an ordinary person withstand it? The power of Yang Wu's soul, I was somewhere between tangible and intangible. It was hard to detect, and it wasn't the power of Qianqi. It didn't really collide with the white-browed Eagle Emperor's power. It directly landed between the white-browed Eagle Emperor's eyebrows, and immediately wanted to seize the white-browed Eagle Emperor's soul. Back then, Yao Yanhai was hit by this move of Yang Wu's and was killed by Yang Wu. This time, it wasn't so easy for Yang Wu. The white-browed Eagle Emperor's power had already been unleashed. When his soul, I struck the white-browed Eagle Emperor, his two pairs of wings couldn't dodge the white-browed Eagle Emperor's attack. The defensive power of his body was torn apart once again. His body was almost torn in half, causing him to cry out in pain. He had to thank Little Hay for constantly helping him temper his body. He had an extremely strong physique, which was why he was barely able to withstand the attack. Furthermore, his soul was very powerful. The white-browed Eagle Emperor's soul was in a mess, and its power couldn't keep up. If it weren't for the Soul Eye's attack, the white-browed Eagle Emperor would have torn him apart alive. Yang Wu heavily fell down. Meng Bingxue appeared like a ghost and hugged Yang Wu in her arms, preventing him from being injured a second time. Kill him. Meng Bingxue's eyes seemed to emit flames as she shouted. Every time she saw Yang Wu get injured, she felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. It was extremely uncomfortable. Right now, she couldn't wait to kill the white-browed Eagle Emperor. Yang Wu relied on his strong willpower to stay awake. He said, "You don't have to do anything. He's my food." Yang Wu activated the supreme 9 Mysteries formula. The spring in his Earth Sea was constantly boiling with Qianqi. The Qianqi from the outside world was constantly gathering towards him, helping him recover. He took out the healing pellets from the Qian Koan space and refined them. With these two methods, his wounds were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. These wounds were very frightening. In fact, the most frightening thing was the eagle claw that contained the eagle demon Qi. It was constantly destroying his life force, trying to directly destroy him. This situation was very bad. If he couldn't stop it, even if he recovered on the surface, his internal organs would be destroyed and he would die. At this time, the new Xianqi formed by the fusion of the innate Xianqi and the frost spring Xianqi came into play. They were formed by the condensation of extremely rare Xianqi. They were the essence of Xianqi. They could block the eagle demon Qi and drive them out of the body, not allowing them to stay in the body. This had a lot to do with the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula. It was not only a method to absorb the Xianqi of heaven and earth, but also a method to protect oneself. It would expel all the energy that couldn't be absorbed. Yang Wu was injured, so the white-browed Eagle Emperor couldn't immediately kill him. His soul was almost taken away from the divine court. He felt that his soul was in a trance, and he was dizzy. No matter how he tried to suppress it, he couldn't get rid of this uncomfortable feeling in a short time. He pinched his head and shouted, "Stay." He activated the formula and looked inside his soul. He poured energy into his soul to forcibly stabilize it. Unfortunately, the power of Yang Wu's soul, I was like a soul-eating maggot. He couldn't get rid of it no matter how hard he tried. The white-browed Eagle Emperor screamed in pain. If Meng Bingxue made a move at this moment, she could definitely kill the white-browed Eagle Emperor. However, Meng Bingxue's mind wasn't clear. She only cared about Yang Wu, so she didn't make a move. The people below understood who had won and who had lost this battle. They saw the white-browed Eagle Emperor screaming in the air, and Yang Wu was badly injured but was saved. Were they both injured? They thought the white-browed Eagle Emperor wasn't hurt at all. He should be the winner. Yang Wu was badly injured. He shouldn't be able to fight anymore. They didn't say anything. Nobody dared to say anything. They just waited quietly to see what would happen in the end. After a while, Yang Wu struggled and rushed out from Meng Bingxue's arms. His two pairs of Xianqi wings were so dazzling. One was white, and the other was blue. He looked at the white-browed Eagle Emperor angrily and rushed over. Yang Wu can still fight. Someone couldn't help but ask, is he going to rush over and die? White-browed Eagle Emperor's situation doesn't look good. What happened to him? Yang Wu quickly arrived in front of the white-browed Eagle Emperor. The red essence sword appeared in his hand, and he slashed at the white-browed Eagle Emperor. At this moment, the white-browed Eagle Emperor instinctively dodged. Yang Wu's sword missed and didn't hurt him. "I'm going to kill you, old bastard." Yang Wu gritted his teeth and shouted. He continued to slash like crazy. He had to kill the white-browed Eagle Emperor. The white-browed Eagle Emperor's soul was in a trance. He couldn't concentrate. He just kept dodging with his instincts. If he kept defending like this, he would definitely lose. Yang Wu slashed him twice. The two slashes didn't do much damage to the white-browed Eagle Emperor. He was wearing the Heaven Realm armor. Even without the Heavenly Scale armor, he could still protect his vital parts. "Master, what's wrong?" White-browed Eagle Emperor's disciples were very confused. They didn't dare believe that their invincible master would be chased and killed by someone else. There must be a reason for this. They really wanted to rush up and help their master, but they understood their master's nature very well. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to help and would even anger their master. In the end, they would be the unlucky ones. What happened to the white-browed Eagle Emperor? He didn't even retaliate after being killed. Could it be that he wanted to let Yang Wu win? An official whispered. If the white-browed Eagle Emperor heard this, he would definitely vomit blood from anger. How could he not retaliate after being slashed? He had no way of retaliating. I'll kill. I'll kill. I'll kill again." Yang Wu continued to shout as he used all his strength to attack. Waves of sword aura continued to envelop the white-browed Eagle Emperor and cut him into 8 pieces. White-browed Eagle Emperor was unable to get rid of the injury to his soul in a short period of time. He wanted to forcefully stabilize his soul, but it was completely impossible. He had no way of exploding out with his strength. "Yang Wu, I will definitely kill you next time." The white-browed Eagle Emperor finally stabilized his body. After cursing, he flew towards his own Eagle Rider. This Eagle Rider had reached the Heaven Demon realm and instantly caught the white-browed Eagle Emperor and left with him. "Master, he lost." The white-browed Eagle Emperor's disciple was still in a daze as he spoke. "Junior brother, leave quickly. Another person reacted quickly. After calling out, he jumped onto the demon eagle and quickly left the palace. The others finally regained their senses and jumped onto the eagle demons, leaving behind a trail of dust. Yao Yu didn't dare to stay and quickly left with them. He cursed in his heart, "You can't even kill a brat that is still wet behind the ears. You really don't deserve your reputation." The civil and military officials were all stunned. The white-browed Eagle Emperor was defeated and left? The white-browed Eagle Emperor didn't look like he was injured. How could he be defeated like this? Yang Wu's body was covered in blood. He looked like he was badly injured, but he was actually able to force a Heaven Fish Realm super expert to leave. This made everyone feel that it was very unreal. He won. Tang Xiaohan's tense heart finally relaxed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with incomparable joy. Unknowingly, she felt that he was the only one she could rely on. The others could not be trusted at all. The younger generation will surpass us in time. No wonder you have such arrogance. Wu Sanhao looked at Yang Wu and muttered. Then he announced, "I, Wu Sanhao, support the princess as the new emperor." No one thought that Wu Sanhao would suddenly make such a decision. No one had recovered from their shock. Qiao Xin quickly added, "I also support the princess as the new emperor." "I don't think." Minister Song frowned and was about to object. Before he could finish, someone loudly said, "My Chao family fully supports the princess as the new emperor. My Su family fully supports the princess as the new emperor." Chapter 422. How easy would it be for a new emperor to ascend the throne? Many of the civil and military officials stood out to support Princess Tang Xiaohan, but it didn't mean that she would be able to ascend the throne smoothly. Minister Song and Shang Liu had many henchmen in the court. How could they allow an uncontrollable empress to ascend the throne? They used the fact that Great Xia had never had an empress to oppose the princess ascending the throne. They also criticized those who supported the princess ascension for speaking nonsense. How would they treat the other princes? We can only choose a prince to ascend the throne. If the princess ascends the throne, I would rather resign. Minister Song threw a tantrum and said. Shang Liu also said, "That's right. Although the princess is intelligent, she still has to get married. Great Xia will fall into the hands of an outsider. We should let a prince ascend the throne. Otherwise, I will also resign." As the two civil officials threatened to resign, a portion of the people responded to their call and used the matter of resigning to force the princess to back down. Tang Xiaohan didn't say anything. Her sorrowful eyes revealed traces of a rarely seen sharpness. She was thinking, should she sit on the throne? Wu Sanhao, Master Qiao, and the rest didn't say anything. They might have a lot of power to support the princess, but they knew that the actual power was in the hands of a seriously injured youth. The white-browed Eagle Emperor had been beaten away. This youth had already become the #1 youth expert in Great Xia. In addition, he was also a heavenly pharmacist. It wouldn't be difficult for him to support the princess. Yang Wu dragged his body covered in blood and walked towards Tang Xiaohan with the Crimson Essence sword. Everyone opened up a path and looked at Yang Wu with eyes full of reverence. If he was given a few more years, who knew how far this youth would grow? Perhaps he would become a giant that could make the transcendent world go crazy. Yang Wu looked at Tang Xiaohan and asked with a pale face, "Princess, are you willing to be the empress?" Tang Xiaohan looked at Yang Wu and felt conflicted. She was very smart and knew that Yang Wu's intention of supporting her to ascend the throne wasn't so simple. Should she agree or not? If you don't want to. Seeing that Tang Xiaohan didn't speak, Yang Wu planned to give up. He didn't want to force her. This might be too cruel for her. Once she ascended the throne, it would mean that her relationship with the other princes would never return. They might even turn against each other and become enemies. Before Yang Wu could finish his words, Tang Xiaohan's gaze became resolute as she replied, "I want to be the empress." All the civil and military officials heard these words clearly. At the same time, they could faintly sense a wisp of dragon qi emerging from Tang Xiaohan's body. This was the emperor's qi. Only those who had the emperor's aura could condense such an aura, or only the descendants of the dragon would have such an aura. The princess had unintentionally awakened a trace of dragon aura, which meant that she was someone who had the emperor's luck. Some of the officials hurriedly knelt down and said, "Greetings, your majesty." These officials could not stand the suppression of the dragon aura. They felt as if a true dragon had appeared in front of them, and they had no choice but to kneel. Wu Sanhao, Qiao Sanyi, Grand Preceptor Hua, and the other old officials could clearly feel the princess aura. They had no choice but to bow and say, "Greetings, your majesty." Only Song Xiang and the others did not move. They did not acknowledge Tang Xiaohan's existence, even if she had dragon qi. Yang Wu smiled. He bowed slightly to Tang Xiaohan and said, "Greetings, your majesty." Then he straightened his back and said, "Your majesty, someone wants to resign. What do you think?" Song Xiang's eyes narrowed. Just as he was about to speak, Tang Xiaohan said, "Approved." After saying this, she turned around and returned to the throne room. She strode towards the dragon throne. Soon, her exquisite and moving body walked to the dragon throne and sat on it without hesitation. The aura on her body suddenly changed. The dragon qi became more condensed. Her entire body was suffused with dragon qi as she said, "I am the new empress. Long live the empress. Long live the empress." Many officials knelt down and shouted in unison. Even those who did not kneel could not help but lower their heads. They did not dare to look at the new empress. This new empress gave them too much pressure. They could not understand why the new empress, who was only in the general realm, could give them so much pressure. They did not know that at the moment when the dragon qi was activated, a force seemed to have awakened in Tang Xiaohan's body. Her celestial qi was constantly surging, and her realm was constantly rising. Perhaps she was born with the fate of an empress. As a prince with a different surname, Wu Sanhao had a high position and power. He knelt down and said, "Wu Sanhao leads 100,000 soldiers to obey the orders of our empress." This was an expert who had quietly entered the divine fish realm. With so many soldiers, who would dare to disobey him when he responded to the new empress? There was also Yang Wu, the Shao Marquis. No one dared to oppose him. Even Song Xiang did not utter a word. Just like this, Tang Xiaohan ascended the throne and became the new empress of Great Xia. Great Xia entered a new era. How could it be so easy for Tang Xiaohan to ascend the throne? Of course, the eldest prince, the second prince, and the fifth prince were not willing to accept it. It all depended on what she would do. Since Tang Xiaohan dared to take the throne, it meant that she was prepared to bear all the responsibilities. Yang Wu forced her to ascend the throne, so she left everything to Yang Wu. "Yang Zhenan, come forward and listen to your orders. You have done your best to protect the empress. You are conferred the title of commander of the imperial guards. You are an official of the second rank and will be rewarded with 10,000 taels of silver. Luo Baijian, come forward and listen to your orders. Your father died protecting the empress. You have been loyal for generations. You are conferred the title of count and the position of vanguard general. You are rewarded with 10,000 taels of silver. Suyin Shuai, come forward and listen to your orders. You have done your best to protect the empress. You are conferred the title of vanguard general and the position of count. You are rewarded with 10,000 taels of silver." That night, those who came to rescue the empress were all rewarded. Only Song Xiang and the other civil officials were forgotten. Although Wu Sanhao supported the new empress still weakened his military power and made him hand over 50,000 soldiers and horses to Chao Jianda. Chao Jianda was promoted to general. Third Master Qiao was appointed as the new prime minister. The position of Prime Minister Song was replaced. The position of Minister of Revenue was also replaced by someone else. "I don't accept this. I don't accept this. You haven't really ascended the throne yet. We haven't acknowledged you yet. How can you deprive me of my position?" Shang Liu shouted with a very unwilling expression. "You have to accept it, even if you don't accept it," Yang Wu said. He reached out and grabbed Shang Liu's body with his claw. Then, he threw Shang Liu out of the main hall on the spot. Bang! Shang Liu was in the general realm. His bones were broken when he was thrown by Yang Wu. It was a shocking sight. Blood seeped out. The only thing to be thankful for was that he was still alive and did not die. Yang Wu showed mercy to him. When the officials saw Yang Wu's methods, they were all shocked. At the same time, they were incomparably worried. Was Yang Wu really going to become the retired emperor? Yang Wu was different from the other officials. He sat on the ground and healed his wounds. He was still covered in blood and looked like a man made of blood. He licked his lips and said, "Whoever dares to disobey his majesty, I, Yang Wu, will be the first to not let him off." He did not use any strength and spoke very calmly. However, the power of his words was undoubtedly shocking. Even the white-browed eagle emperor had been killed and fled. Who else could challenge him? Wu Sanhao should still have this kind of ability. However, he had already declared his loyalty to the new empress. Naturally, he could not be an enemy of Yang Wu. No one else had this kind of ability. The imperial school's principal Qi Ensign, who had always kept a low profile, might also have this kind of ability. However, he had already hidden it. He only wanted to protect the new empress and did not participate in the matters of the imperial court. Tang Xiaoan was indifferent and continued to announce the dismissal of the officials. Those officials who had accompanied Prime Minister Song were either stripped of their official positions or demoted to minor officials. All of them looked as if they had lost their parents. It was really hard to bear. They had never thought of resigning. They were just casually saying it. Unfortunately, at this juncture, casually saying it was also a crime. The most tragic ones were Shang Liu and Prime Minister Song. However, Prime Minister Song was very open-minded. When he took off his official hat, he still had a smile on his face. It was as if he had not suffered any blow at all. He elegantly left the hall. Finally, Tang Xiaohan announced, "Yang Wu, listen up. You are conferred the title of National Protector General. You have the right to act first and report later. You are also conferred the title of Prince with a different surname. Your reward is 100,000 taels of silver." This time, Yang Wu could be said to have reached the heavens in a single bound. At the same time, Tang Xiaoan had also made it clear that she wanted to rely on Yang Wu to suppress the officials. Yang Wu very obediently replied, "Thank you, Your Majesty, for your kindness." From this moment on, Great Xia had really changed. Yang Wu became the National Protector General and a prince with a different surname. His status was the same as Wu Sanhao's. If Wu Sanhao was not a super expert of the heavenly fish realm and had 100,000 soldiers outside the city, he would definitely have been demoted by Tang Xiaoan. He would even be treated as a traitor. After Tang Xiaoan ascended the throne, the other princes were dissatisfied. Even the empress was dissatisfied with her actions. These matters did not require Yang Wu to appear. Many people had already spread the news of Yang Wu defeating the white-browed Eagle King. Tang Xiaoan had been promoted to the throne by him. Whoever dared to overthrow her was not giving him face. Shang Liu was the best example. The empress and the other princes did not dare to speak out rashly. They could only secretly seek help, hoping that one day they could overthrow Tang Xiaoan and take over the throne. They also spread rumors that Tang Xiaoan was not the emperor's biological daughter, or that Tang Xiaoan had been controlled by Yang Wu. They used this to shake Tang Xiaoan's prestige. The civil and military officials did not dare to speak out. So, even if the common people knew about this rumor, what can they do? Tang Xiaoan was not in a hurry to hold the coronation ceremony. She began to arrange her father emperor's funeral and let him rest in peace. In addition, Yang Jinan began to perform his duties and began to search Royal City. He not only needed to appease the people, but also needed to find Prince Fu and his family. Unfortunately, these people seemed to have disappeared into thin air. No matter how hard he searched, he could not find them. He suspected that there were still Prince Fu and his people in Royal City. If he did not find them, he was afraid that they would always be a hidden danger. Yang Wucheng, on the other hand, had calmed down after becoming a king with a different surname. He didn't show off in the slightest. Aside from his private interactions with Tang Xiaoan, he also had a simple conversation with Wu Sanhao. After that, he shifted his focus to another matter. Little Black had brought him good news. It had discovered the whereabouts of the Soul Springs. The Tianhundan is in the future. Chapter 423. Summer had arrived, and the scorching sun shone on the earth. Everyone felt very hot and uncomfortable. Most people were sleeping in their rooms, and some were playing chess or drinking tea in the shade. They were chatting about what had happened in Tianwang City. In just a few days, our Xia kingdom has suddenly changed its empress. I really didn't expect this. The empress is a princess. She's still a child. Handing over such a big country to her. Is she a puppet empress? Be careful with your words. Something big happened in the palace. You can't talk about it casually, or you'll be killed. However, I think it's not bad to have a new empress. At least the taxes we have to pay every year are reduced by a lot. That's true. Whoever wants to sit on the throne can sit on it. It has nothing to do with us. As long as we don't make the people miserable. The empress ascended the throne very suddenly, but the youngest prince with a different surname in history is even more shocking. I really don't know how he did it. If only our children had half of his ability. Yang residence. The area here had expanded by 2 to 3 times. The nearby land had been enclosed by the Yang residence and became the Yang residence. There were only a few princes with different surnames in history. Now that the Yang family had a prince with a different surname, it was definitely a great event that brought glory to their ancestors. There was a lot of construction here. Many new pavilions were built, and many bonsai plants were arranged. They strived to build the courtyard according to the specifications of a prince's residence. In the old courtyard, a young man was lying on a rattan chair and basking in the sun. The sun was very strong, but this young man acted as if nothing had happened. He was not afraid of the sun at all. Instead, he looked like he was enjoying it. If someone paid attention, they would notice that there was a blue light in the young man's heart. This light was like a little fairy dancing nonstop. At the same time, it was also absorbing the power of the sun bit by bit. This was the blue beauty. It was the flame of the heart. It was a talent that was awakened by the heart. Little Hay was jealous of it, which showed that its origin was not ordinary. In order to strengthen it, it had to absorb an endless amount of power. The power of the sun was the power of pure yang. It happened to be the power that it needed to replenish the most. Even if Yang Wu did not use the supreme 9 mysteries technique, the flame of the heart would automatically absorb the power to strengthen itself. This was an extremely mysterious talent. After the battle in the palace, Yang Wu was sent home by the empress to recuperate. Yang Wu had the ability to heal himself. This was a secret that not many people knew about, and he didn't want too many people to know about it. Thus, he followed the empress' wishes and returned home to recuperate. He also wanted to take the opportunity to wait and see if there was anyone else who wanted to deal with him. In the end, no one came, which really made him feel somewhat disappointed. At this moment, someone appeared in front of him and knelt down. "Greetings, Your Highness. Shu Luoqiu, have you recovered from your injuries?" Yang Wu glanced at the newcomer and asked. Shu Luoqiu was the first person to discover Prince Fu An's betrayal. He also joined the Yang family and almost lost his life. "Thanks to His Highness, I've almost recovered," Shu Luoqiu honestly replied. Originally, he was an arrogant person, but in front of Yang Wu, he really couldn't bring up the slightest bit of arrogance. Even if this master of his was lying here, he was like the sun above his head, making people not dare to look directly at him. "Well, tell me how you found out about Prince Fu An's betrayal," Yang Wu softly said. After Shu Luoqiu calmed down his emotions, he told Yang Wu what he knew. It turned out that Yang Wu sent him to watch every move of Prince Fu An's family, purely to understand Tang Yinjiao's whereabouts. He was always ready to retaliate against her. During this time, he accidentally discovered something unusual in Prince Fu An's mansion. So, he tracked it down and eavesdropped on some confidential things. Prince Fu An's mansion and Medicine King Hall had secret dealings with each other. They also had dealings with Song family. In addition to the surface, there were many secrets. On the day of the incident, he heard the news of Prince Fu An's rebellion. Many mysterious, strong people appeared out of nowhere, scaring him to escape. Fortunately, he was able to escape quickly enough and was not silenced by the other party. After listening to Shu Luoqiu's story, Yang Wu asked, "Did those people appear in Prince Fu An's mansion?" Yes, it was Prince Fu In's mansion. Some people appeared from other places. I suspect that they were sent by Medicine King Hall and Prime Minister Song. Shu Luochio said, "It seems that this matter is not small." Yang Wu frowned and murmured. At present, Medicine King Hall still existed. The white-browed Hawk Emperor was still backing them. His soul eye attack may not be able to cause too much damage to the other party. He still has no time to deal with Medicine King Hall. Song family situation was even worse. The people of Mount Amei were still living there. He didn't know when they would leave. Although Yang Wu's fighting strength was amazing, he still can't act recklessly. He must have a comprehensive plan. He must disintegrate these forces so that the Yang family can take root in Daxia. Shu Luochio stood still and didn't speak. He was a man of few words. After pondering for a while, Yang Wu said, "Shu Luochio, you are very good. This is your reward." After he finished speaking, he took out a medicinal pill. Shu Luochio quickly took the medicinal pill in his hand. His eyes showed an incomparable excitement. He then knelt in front of Yang Wu and said, "Thank you, Wang Ye." Yang Wu said, "Your foundation is good, but it is not enough. Here is a bottle of medicinal liquid. You can take it to quench your body. When you reach the limit, you can break through. Shu Luochio will engrave it in my heart." Shu Luochio said seriously, "Well, you can go now. When you break through, I will give you a new task." Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "Yes." Shu Luochio held the medicinal pill in his hand and showed a firm expression of loyalty. Then he left. After Shu Luochio left, Shouho and Lu Ji appeared one after another. Shouho had killed the enemy and was already conferred the title of Assistant General. His rank was standard 5th rank, and he rose quickly. In Daxia, he was also a young genius with a small reputation. Lu Ji didn't get any benefits, but he didn't care at all. He had been quietly cultivating. His body was getting better day by day. Although the problem with his foundation hadn't been completely solved, his mental state was much better than before. "Greetings, Wang Ye." The two of them came in front of Yang Wu and showed a respectful expression as they bowed. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "That's enough. You're all my brothers. There is no need for this." "Sickly beauty, did you see that? I knew Big Brother wasn't that kind of person." Shouho looked provocatively at Lu Ji and said. Lu Ji replied, "Etiquette cannot be abolished. However, it is more practical to call you Lord." Yang Wu jumped up from the rattan chair and said, "Call me whatever you want. In my heart, you are all my brothers. In the future, we will dominate the world together. Whatever Big Brother says, we will do," Shouho said with incomparable determination. Lu Ji didn't say anything. He only stood beside Yang Wu with a faint smile on his face. He expressed his own intentions. He respected Yang Wu in everything. "How is Chang Jian's side? Is it going smoothly?" Yang Wu asked Lu Ji. Chang Jian is a talent. He has already established a good relationship with the Lin clan. Moreover, he has bought a good place that could be used as a temporary auction site. In addition, he is also building a new auction site. Lu Ji replied. He paused for a moment and said, "During this period of time, the Medicine King Hall has restrained their arrogance. We must speed up and strike them down. I just don't know what Wang Ye plans to do." "What do you think I should do?" Yang Wu asked back. "Cough, cough, swallow up the Medicine King Hall." Lu Ji coughed lightly. He waved his feather fan and said with a sharp gaze, "Haha, as expected of the sickly beauty's advisor. You have spoken my mind." Yang Wu laughed loudly. He then said, "Let Xueji pick out the 10 strongest generals from the army. I want to help them all break through to the Earthsea realm. In addition, we must cultivate new blood from the Death Army so that they can be replenished at any time." In this battle, more than 10 members of the Death Army had followed Yang Jinnan to the Imperial Palace. They had all died in battle. From his point of view, Yang Wu realized that the Death Army needed people to replenish it. They even needed to expand it. Only then could they become stronger and stronger and not fall into a state of lack of manpower. "Wang Ye, you don't have to worry about this matter. There are already people doing this for us." Lu Ji smiled. "Oh, what's going on?" Yang Wu was puzzled. "Peng Yuan." Lu Ji spat out a name. He then reported Peng Yuan's recent actions to Yang Wu. If Lu Ji hadn't mentioned Peng Yuan, Yang Wu wouldn't have remembered that there was such a person in his family. Peng Yuan was too ugly, so Yang Wu automatically ignored him. Ever since Yang Wu handed Peng Yuan over to Lu Ji and Peng Yuan had a very pleasant conversation. One was beautiful and one was ugly, so they complemented each other. Both of them were good at scheming. Lu Ji was good at open and above-board schemes, while Peng Yuan was good at crafty plots. The two of them mutually verified each other's abilities and learned a lot from each other. Peng Yuan couldn't be placed in an important position by Yang Wu. If it weren't for the pills that Yang Wu gave him, he would have left long ago. He was an ambitious person. He wanted to find a place where he could display his talents and find a wise master who could appreciate him. During this period of time, Peng Yuan had been quietly doing one thing, which was to find a place to take in a group of miserable boys and girls. On one hand, he sympathized with them and was kind enough to give them a chance to survive. On the other hand, he was looking for successors for the Death Corps. People would grow old and die, but their spirit must be passed on. The Death Corps was the first batch of Yang family generals. The age of the members was uneven. The older ones were in their 50s, while the younger ones were in their early 20s. When these people grew old or died in battle, someone had to take over. Peng Yuan took in these children to take over their duties. This matter was originally proposed by Peng Yuan and Lu Ji. After Lu Ji agreed, Peng Yuan quietly did this and didn't have time to tell Yang Wu. What a good Peng Yuan. He has planned a long-term path for our Yang family. Yang Wu said excitedly after listening to Lu Ji's words. Yes, Peng Yuan is a very resourceful person. Please put him in an important position. Lu Ji took the opportunity to recommend Peng Yuan. Call him over immediately. Chapter 424. Peng Yuan was very ugly and extremely sloppy. Anyone who saw him would associate him with a beggar. When Peng Yuan saw Yang Wu, he only bowed slightly and didn't deliberately try to curry favor with Yang Wu. This was a person who was proud of his ability. Yang Wu didn't mind. He stepped forward and shook Peng Yuan's seemingly dirty hands. He said emotionally, Peng Yuan, I've wronged you. I'm sorry. Peng Yuan was stunned. He couldn't figure out what Yang Wu was trying to do. My lord, what are you doing? Peng Yuan asked. I didn't recognize your talent. It's my fault. I apologize to you here. In the future, you and the sickly beauty will be my left and right strategists. Yang Wu said very seriously. Not only did Peng Yuan take in and nurture those children who had difficulties, he also told Lu Ji many things about strategizing. Yang Wu felt that he should treat Peng Yuan well since Lu Ji respected him so much. Yang Wu valued martial arts, but he also cherished literary talents. Perhaps it was because of his younger brother's influence, but he was extremely respectful of literati. This was also the reason why he was willing to listen to Lu Ji's words. My lord, you're too serious. Peng Yuan said somewhat uncomfortably. I've already heard about the matter of you nurturing those children. In addition, you've also plotted a long-term path for the Yang clan. Tell me about it. Yang Wu asked Peng Yuan to sit down. Peng Yuan glanced at Lu Ji. Lu Ji smiled and said, Peng Yuan, just say it. The Lord won't blame you. Okay, then I'll say it. Peng Yuan pondered for a moment and began to say, at present, the Yang clan seems to be rising rapidly, but in fact, it's in a precarious situation. It may collapse at any time. After saying this, he couldn't help but look at Yang Wu to see how he will react. But Yang Wu just smiled and didn't interrupt him, so he continued to say, why do I say Yang family is in a precarious situation? First, because my lord killed Prince Fu and his henchmen will give us a fatal blow at any time. They have been planning for a long time, but because of my lord and clan head, they failed. Second, my lord offended Mauname, which is a big hidden danger. As long as Mauname attaches importance to this matter, Yang family will inevitably be wiped out. Third, Yang family has no backing, so it is not enough to deter all hostile forces. Once my lord has an accident, Yang family will inevitably collapse. Fourth, Yang family is not united. It seems that the Death Legion is loyal to Yang family, but they have no sense of belonging. Peng Yuan said a lot in one breath, which shocked Yang Wu. Yang Wu was very clear that he had caused a lot of trouble, but he never felt like he was surrounded by enemies like Pang Yuan said. Now, listening to Pang Yuan's analysis, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. If he were to leave the Yang family one day, would his parents still be able to live well here? The answer is absolutely no. All of this was because he was too flamboyant, too arrogant, and had buried the root of the disaster. After Pang Yuan finished speaking, Lu Ji added, "If the Yang clan falls, then so be it. I'm just afraid that all of us will be exterminated along with 9 generations of our families. We'll be wiped out completely." Skinny Ho stared at Lu Ji and said, "Will it be so miserable?" Lu Ji and Pang Yuan said in unison, "Yes." "Dage, I think they're talking nonsense. In Xia, whoever dares to touch the Yang clan will be killed." Skinny Ho's brain was relatively simple, so he didn't think too deeply. Yang Wu didn't answer him. He frowned for a while and said, "Then, what should we do?" "The most violent way is to make Milord invincible in the world. But for the time being, it is not realistic. As the saying goes, there will always be a higher mountain. Wanting to be invincible is easier said than done." Pang Yuan straightforwardly said. Then he added, "From the current point of view, Milord should take the initiative to repair the relationship with Mount Amei. Also, we should find Prince Fu and his henchmen as soon as possible. In addition, we should rebuild the Yang family's team. With Milord's ability, we should train some strong people in the rear. We must build a solid foundation so that we can withstand the destruction of the wind and rain." Pang Yuan said, "In the end, the Yang clan's foundation is too bad." Yang Wu sighed. Lu Ji comforted him. "It's not that the Yang clan's foundation is too bad, but Milord, your rise is too fast. Others can't keep up. Your flattery is good. Since you and Pang Yuan are my right and left advisors, let's discuss how to plan a long-term future for my Yang clan." Yang Wu said. Skinny Monkey said from the side, "Dage, don't forget about our Wuho clan. As long as it is established, we can solve everything. When the time comes, we will blow away all the people from Mount Amei. Let's see who will dare to harm our Yang clan. No matter what we do, in the end, we still need to rely on money. People die for money, birds die for food." Lu Ji said lightly, "I understand. You go and urge Shang Jian to do things as soon as possible. Skinny Monkey, go and help my father to find out where Fu and Mansion's people are hiding." Yang Wu ordered. Then he paused for a moment and said, "As for the Wuho clan, you also need a plan. In the future, we may not have a backer to rely on. We can only rely on ourselves." Yes, the 3 of them could see that Yang Wu had already made a decision. So, they shouted and retreated. Yang Wu rubbed his temples and muttered to himself, "It's not easy being a prince." Yang Wu got up and went to another room in the house. This room was newly built. It was isolated quite far away. There were no guards. It was like a forbidden area. Yang Wu arrived at the room and directly pushed the door. In an instant, a thick death aura hit his nose. It can deprive a person of their vitality and reduce their lifespan. It can even wrap around their body until they die. Yang Wu breathed and absorbed all the death aura into his body. He was not afraid of this death aura. Instead, he used it as a kind of energy to supplement his strength. In the room, there was a big medicine jar. In the medicine jar, there was a person. This person was the Death War King. He was currently in a very strange state. His vitality had been cut off, but there was still energy flowing in his body, forming a thick death aura. This death aura was much stronger than the one from the Rose of Death. However, it was flowing in the Death War King's body and did not leak out too much. On one hand, it was because of the Death War King himself, and, on the other hand, it was because of Yang Wu's medicine jar. In the battle with Yang Wu, the Death War King used up the last of his vitality. His body, which was almost corroded by the death aura, was on the verge of death. It was impossible for him to live. However, he spent a lot of time studying the path of death. At the moment of his death, he felt the profound mysteries of the path of death. However, his body was unable to control the death aura. The reason why Yang Wu saved the Death War King was because during the battle, he should have been beheaded by the Death War King. However, In the end, the Death War King did not kill him. Because of this, Yang Wu returned the Death War King's life. In addition, he felt that the Death War King was a worthy helper. There were a total of 108 types of medicinal herbs in the cauldron, including a heavenly medicine and a dozen king medicines. They were all great medicines with extraordinary medicinal effects. These were all great medicines that could replenish one's vitality. Yang Wu had refined them all into medicinal liquid for the War Monarch of Death's recovery. Before this, Yang Wu had already checked the Death War King's body. His body had been devoured by the Death Qi, and his muscles had completely lost their vitality. There was basically no way for him to survive. Even if there was a heavenly medicine, it would not be able to save him. His only chance of survival was that he had comprehended the mysteries of the Tao of Death, which allowed him to convert the death energy in his body into life force. The only thing Yang Wu could do was to use the medicinal liquid to preserve his life force until he had completely converted the Tao of Death and regained his life force. Once the Death War King came back to life, he would become a new Death War King. No, he should be called the Death War King. Not only would he regain his peak strength, but he would also achieve extraordinary things. Yang Wu looked at the Death War King and said to himself, "Whether you can turn death into a new life depends on you. My medicine is only a catalyst. Otherwise, even if I get a heavenly medicine, I won't be able to save you." Yang Wu could feel that the Death War King still had a trace of consciousness. However, he was not sure if the Death War King could hear him. He really hoped that the Death War King could stand up again and become his helper. He could be considered another super expert after he cured Meng Bingxue. Yang Wu dripped a few drops of stalactite into the medicine jar and left the room. Not long after Yang Wu left the room, Death War King, who had been keeping his eyes closed all this time, quietly opened his eyes. There was an indescribable feeling in his eyes, but he quickly closed them again. Yang Wu went to find his mother. He planned to go to his maternal grandfather's house with his mother. Ever since his maternal grandfather had personally visited, the two families had buried the hatchet. His prejudice against his maternal grandfather had also lessened. He wanted to give him some face and help the Su family regain their footing in the imperial court. Before he reached his mother's room, little Hay appeared out of nowhere. "Woof, woof, little Wu, I found the whereabouts of the soul spring." Little Hay transmitted to Yang Wu. Yang Wu trembled. "Really? Where is it?" In order to refine the perfect heavenly soul pill, the soul spring was essential. "It's in the Medicine King Pavilion. I went out for a stroll in the past few days and went to their medicine storage area. I discovered that they had a lot of things stored there," Little Hay replied. "Then did you bring it out?" Yang Wu asked urgently. "How could it be that easy? There are many people guarding that place." "Little Hay, keep pretending. There's nothing you can't steal. Hurry up and give it to me so I can refine the heavenly soul pill. I'm telling you very seriously, this immortal emperor disdains doing such things. I just want to look for something to eat. You have to fight for the soul spring yourself. All right, there's a secret room there where a group of medicinal puppets are being raised. It's a pity that their formula isn't very good. It can only temporarily transform a person into a demonic beast and explode with more power. If all of these puppets are mobilized, the impact on this small place will be quite big." Chapter 425. Beast Transformation Pill. This is a strange medicinal pill. As long as you take it, you will have the ability to transform into a beast. You will lose a lot of your reason, and the burden on your body will be very big. After taking this medicinal pill, you will not be able to move for at least a month. Medicine King Pavilion actually has this medicinal pill, and they intend to cultivate a group of beast transformation powerhouses. What do they want to do? This is self-evident. Yang Wu couldn't help but think of Prince Fuan. Before he died, he took this medicinal pill and turned into a demon. His fighting strength increased by leaps and bounds. If Yang Wu was not strong enough, he might have been injured by him. Little Hay, the information you provided is too important. It seems the relationship between Prince Fu and Medicine King Pavilion is very deep. Prince Fu and may be in the Medicine King Pavilion. Yang Wu suddenly felt enlightened. He can conclude that there is a collusion between Medicine King Pavilion and Prince Fuan, Although he had such a speculation before, and Shu Luochio said, there is no way to prove the relationship between them. But with the information provided by Little Hay, he can completely conclude it. Little Wu, these ordinary things should be solved as soon as possible. It is a waste of time to drag it on. Don't forget, you still have important things to do. Little Hay reminded. Well, I know. Give me some time. I will straighten out all these things and then go to find the Xian Essence Qi. Yang Wu said. Yang Wu called a member of the Death Legion to pass the information to his father. His father was the commander of the Imperial Guards, and he shouldered the task of tracking down the whereabouts of Prince Fuan. This information will be very useful to his father. However, Medicine King Pavilion cannot be moved now. With the white-browed Hawk Emperor there, even Yang Wu may not be able to deal with them, unless Meng Bingxue makes a move. Eliminate the Medicine King Pavilion within a month. Yang Wu's eyes flashed with a stern look as he said. The next day, Yang Wu accompanied Su Rome to the Su family. When they were young, Yang Wu and Yang Wen liked to go to the Su family to play. Old man, Su was very good to them. Although the other Su family members were a bit snobbish, they were still within the acceptable range. After Yang Wu offended Prince Fuan, the Su family made Yang Wu bitterly disappointed. This time, Yang Wu accompanied Su Rome to visit. Firstly, he didn't want to make things difficult for his mother. Secondly, he didn't want to remember these things. After all, they were related by blood. These hurdles had to be crossed. With the rise of Yang Wu and Su Yanba in the Su family, the Su family had a chance to rise again. Because Prime Minister Song and the others resigned, there were a lot of vacancies. The second son of the Su family, Su Mingbo, was promoted. He was now a 4th-rank official. Compared to his original 6th-rank official position, it can be said that he jumped a lot. Only Su Hurin, a dutiful man, continued to stay at home. Although it seemed like he didn't reap any benefits, he gained a lot of benefits from managing the Su family's businesses. Many people came to curry favor with the Su family, especially the day before yesterday when a high-ranking official came to propose a marriage alliance with the Su family. This marriage alliance was the eldest son of Su Hurin, Su Yiguan. He was 22 years old and has already reached the age to start a family. This young master of the Su family was used to idling around. He originally thought that finding a woman from a rich family to marry would be enough. Suddenly, a big official's family was willing to have a marriage alliance with their Su family. This was a great thing. Today, Yang Wu and Su Rome came to the Su family. The Su family was already decorated with lanterns and colored banners. Inside and outside, everything was clean and tidy. Everyone was already waiting at the door. Even the emperor was not so grand when he came to the Su family. Su Hurin's wife, Kong Qing, saw the people coming from afar and hurriedly shouted, "They are here! They are here! Get ready quickly!" Everyone in the Su family became nervous and bowed low. Some people even knelt down to welcome them. It was obvious how high their status was in their hearts. Among the crowd, old Master Su showed dissatisfaction. However, he could not say anything. His eldest daughter-in-law did this, so he couldn't blame her on the spot. This time, Yang Wu brought his mother out. He did not arrange things casually. Instead, he sent 49 cavalrymen. They were all wearing battle armor and holding battle weapons. They lined up on the left and right sides to open the way for his mother. He and his mother sat in a luxurious carriage pulled by the Demon King Firecloud Tiger, displaying the demeanor of a noble. Before leaving, Su Rome blamed Yang Wu for acting recklessly. Yang Wu did not mind. It was fine for him to go out alone, but it was different for his mother. As a son, he had to let his mother go out in a grand manner so that she could be proud of her son. He was already a prince. If he didn't do something like this, then it would be too degrading for his status. The 49 cavalrymen arrived at the Su family. Most of them knelt down and shouted, "Greetings, Prince. Greetings, Madame Ida." Madame Ida was Su Rome's official title. Following her son's promotion to prince and her husband's promotion to commander of the Imperial Guard, she was bestowed the title of Ida by the new emperor. The main reason was that she gave birth to a pair of civil and military scholars. Su Rome had taken the face-preserving pill Yang Wu gave her and was wearing a gorgeous dress. She looked like a young woman in her early 20s. She was beautiful and noble, completely different from the haggard appearance she had when she was released from prison several months ago. Yang Wu helped Su Rome out of the luxurious carriage. Su Rome quickly walked over to old man Su and said, "Father, why did you all come out? Quickly come in." Before old man Su could say anything, Kong Qing spoke first. "Little sister, since His Highness has come to our Su family, of course we have to give him a grand welcome. This is our Su family's great fortune." Su Rome replied, "We are all family. There is no need for this. Etiquette cannot be discarded." Kong Qing insisted. "That's right, etiquette cannot be discarded." Yang Wu lightly said from the side. After pausing for a bit, he said, "This king hasn't told you to stand yet, so why are you standing up?" "Your Highness, I am your aunt," Sun Qing said with a smile. "And also needs to kneel," Yang Wu said with a straight face. This time, Kong Qing was quite frightened. She quickly knelt down and didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Her body was still trembling. She didn't understand why he still treated her like this, even though she had tried so hard to please him. She felt extremely wronged. "Wu-er, don't be rude," Su Rome reprimanded Yang Wu. She then personally helped Kong Qing up and said, "Sister-in-law, I'm sorry, Wu-er was just playing with you." No, your Highness is right. Etiquette cannot be discarded. I will just kneel," Kong Qing said fearfully. "Wu-er, why aren't you letting your aunt get up?" Su Rome glared at Yang Wu and said, "Who else in Xia dared to speak to Yang Wu in this way other than her?" Yang Wu hurriedly smiled and said, "Aunt, please get up. We are all family. In the future, don't make such a scene. My mother doesn't like it." Yang Wu deliberately gave Kong Qing a show of strength. It could be considered as a way of venting when he was thrown into prison. Yes, Aunt will remember," Kong Qing said, as if relieved of a heavy burden. Just like this, the Su family accompanied Su Rome and Yang Wu into the house. Originally, those Su family juniors who wanted to establish good relations with Yang Wu didn't dare to approach Yang Wu. This was the effect that Yang Wu wanted. Yang Wu wasn't afraid of trouble, but he was different from the past. He absolutely wouldn't allow the Su family to use his name to go out and swindle others. He understood the character of some people in the Su family very well, so he had to give them a good beating. This wasn't to say that Yang Wu was scheming and astute, but as he grew up, his methods of dealing with things had become more sophisticated. In the Su family, Kong Qing still had the courage to mention her daughter, Su Ying, to Su Rome. This was a pretty girl from a humble family, 3 years younger than Yang Wu. Kong Qing actually wanted to give her daughter to Yang Wu to be his concubine. It had to be said that Kong Qing was a woman who knew how to curry favor. Of course, Su Ying and Yang Wu knew each other. In the past, she was still a child. Now, she was ignorant about the matters between men and women. At her age, she could get married. She looked at Yang Wu with a gaze full of infatuation and worship. The feelings of a young girl for the first time in love were unmistakable. If Yang Wu didn't have a girl by his side, Su Rome would still be very tempted by Kong Qing's proposal. After all, one should keep the goodies within the family. However, Yang Wu already had a good girl by his side. Su Ying, this little girl, could be forgiven. Yang Wu was really bored staying in the Su family's hall. He called out to his third uncle, and the two walked out of the courtyard together. Isn't this kind of family gathering very boring? Su Yinshui didn't know where he got a piece of tobacco. After taking a puff, he exhaled a burst of smoke and said. Yang Wu smiled and said, "It's not boring. As long as my mother is happy, it's fine." "You're a good child," Su Yinshui said seriously. Then he changed the topic and said, "When are you going to give me what you owe me?" Yang Wu didn't answer the question and said, "Third uncle, I heard that your staff technique is good." Su Yinshui glanced at Yang Wu and said, "It's passable, but compared to you, it's still a far cry. Don't think of using me as your practice. I won't fall for it. Am I that kind of person? I have a brother who's also good at staff techniques. I wanted to ask you for advice." Yang Wu said. Su Yinshui said with relief, "Okay, call him over. Third uncle will teach him a few moves. I guarantee that he'll be able to walk sideways in King City." "Skinny monkey, come here," Yang Wu called out to the door. "Big brother, I'm here." Skinny Monkey heard and quickly walked in. "This is my third uncle. He's known as the Staff King. You can ask him for advice on staff techniques." Yang Wu said to Skinny Monkey. "Big brother, he's third uncle. That's not good," Skinny Monkey said with a trace of embarrassment. Sui and Shuai felt that Skinny Monkey was looking down on him. He said from the side, "Child, come. Third uncle will teach you how to use a staff." Sui and Shuai was a staff expert and a high-level king. This thin-looking youth dared to look down on him. Naturally, he wasn't happy. "My third uncle's strength isn't any worse than yours. Go ahead and ask for advice," Yang Wu encouraged. "Then I'll ask third uncle to teach me." Skinny Monkey didn't insist. He was someone who liked to fight. He was very happy to have someone fight with him. Come. Third uncle will teach you how to use a staff," Sui and Shuai said like an elder teaching a child. Thus, he suffered a tragedy. Chapter 426. Skinny Monkey, how can you poke third uncle with a stick? You are too despicable. Big brother, I was wronged. I fought with third uncle for 300 rounds. It was hard to tell who was better. In the end, he tried to hit me with his, but unexpectedly, he hit my stick. At that time, I thought it was third uncle's killing move. I had no choice but to poke him with all my strength. I really didn't mean it. Oh, poor third uncle. He kept his virginity for decades, but in the end, his chrysanthemum was opened by you. I don't know if you will take it too hard. It can't be. I don't think third uncle is the kind of person who would seek death. Well, I also don't think so. But just now, when I was about to give him the Earth King Dan, he disappeared without taking it. This is a big blow to him. Big brother, I'm sorry. If I knew this earlier, I would not have been so serious. Actually, I just saw third uncle calling you third uncle. You should have called him third uncle a few more times. In the blink of an eye, 7 days have passed. In these 7 days, a lot of things happened. Basically, these things are not spread outside. Ordinary people have no way to know about it, and will never know about it. Let's talk about the Imperial Palace first. Since the new emperor ascended the throne, there were constant infighting in the Imperial Palace. Tang Xiaoan was under a lot of pressure to ascend the throne. Her imperial mother did not understand. Her imperial brother did not understand. So they forced her to give up the throne. There were even people who tried to assassinate her. Tang Xiaoan thought about giving up the throne, but after thinking for a long time, she decided to continue sitting in this position. Because she needs power, she needs strength. She doesn't want to be protected by others. She wants to protect the people she wants to protect. In addition, she can feel Yang Wu's determination. If she doesn't sit in this position and let other people sit in it, even if Yang Wu does not rebel, he will absolutely not support the Imperial Palace. Without Yang Wu's support, the Imperial Palace will fall into constant internal strife and finally collapse. No matter what the reason is, it cannot change the fact that she ascended the throne. Only by doing her best in this position can she erase the current criticism. Before this, the reason why the Imperial Palace was invaded by Prince Fu was because there were traitors. The first thing the new emperor should do was to clean up the traitors. The new emperor would rather kill the wrong person than let them go. Therefore, a group of heads instantly fell on the ground. After the heads fell to the ground, the voices of opposition in the palace gradually died down. However, who would have known that the new emperor was crying so hard that his eyes were red and swollen that night? Medicine King Pavilion. Ever since Yao Yanhai was killed by Yang Wu, the atmosphere here was heavy and oppressive every day. If it were not for the white-browed eagle emperor sitting here, the hearts of the alchemists here would probably have scattered. The white-browed falcon emperor was publicly acknowledged as the #1 expert in Grand Xia. Originally, he was loyal to the royal clan. But sadly, after he became sworn brothers with Yao Yanhai, it meant that he was drifting further and further away from the royal clan. Both white-browed Hawk Emperor and Yao Yanhai were ambitious people. When Prince Fu came to them and expressed his intention, they began to fully support him. Unfortunately, Yao Yanhai died too suddenly, forcing Prince Fu to rebel in advance. If Yao Yanhai is not dead, they can continue to secretly plan for a period of time. Then, the throne will definitely belong to Prince Fu. Unfortunately, there are no ifs in all of this. In the Medicine King Pavilion, White-browed Hawk Emperor has already stabilized his soul injury. Nephew, this time, if you did not provide me with the soul Dan, Uncle will not be able to survive this disaster. White-browed Hawk Emperor said to Yao Lingyu. Uncle, you're being too serious. You only got into trouble because you stood up for my father. If anything happens to you, Lingyu deserves to die, Yao Lingyu replied. Rest assured, Uncle's soul injury has been healed. I can take Yang Wu's dog life at any time. As long as he is eliminated, everything will be back in our hands. White-browed Hawk Emperor said with a murderous look. Uncle, don't worry. Yang Wu has a mysterious expert protecting him. It will not be easy to kill him. We must have a foolproof plan, Yao Lingyu said. Then, he paused for a moment and said, Song family sent a message. Amei Mountain will soon send another Heaven Realm expert. Yang will not be able to jump for long. For now, let's endure him. No, if this continues, I will go crazy. A little king made me lose face. I will tear him apart. White-browed Hawk Emperor said with a bad temper. Uncle, don't worry. Come with me to see some of the fighting geniuses we have cultivated. It won't be long before the entire King City is under our control, Yao Lingyu said, then led White-browed Hawk Emperor in a certain direction. Soon, the two of them passed through a secret passage and appeared in a very large basement. The vicious aura here was very heavy, and there were endless screams. Roar. In this square, there were many people who were chained to a stone pillar. They were all very strong and naked. There were many scars on their bodies, which looked very frightening. Some people wearing alchemist robes were feeding them dawn. After these people ate the dawn, they turned into monster beasts. Their strength exploded, and they forcefully broke free from the chains. They exploded with an incomparably shocking strength. Every one of them lost their minds and continued to kill. Many broken limbs and blood splattered everywhere. They were only ordinary martial artists, but the strength they exploded with was several times their original strength. It was even more than 10 times. Uncle, what do you think? Yao Lingyu said with a bit of pride. This is the plan your father told me about. White-browed Hawk Emperor said with a frown. White-browed Hawk Emperor was a cruel and merciless person, but seeing these people turn into monster beasts and kill each other, and even eat each other's flesh, he felt disgusted. Yes, my father researched the beast transformation pill from an ancient remnant recipe. He left behind a batch of heaven-level beast transformation pills. I can also refine king-level beast transformation pills. After a few more days, when we are ready, we will take King City for ourselves and have the royal family change their surname. Yao Lingyu's eyes flashed with a strong sense of ambition as he spoke. Then he continued, Uncle, you can stay with me for this period of time. With you in charge, I can feel more at ease. I'm afraid that Yang Wu will take revenge. Good, I will stay here for a few days. If he dares to come, I will tear him apart. White-browed Hawk Emperor agreed without thinking. Then I will have to trouble Uncle. Song Manor. This used to be the dignified Prime Minister's manor. In the past, there were people coming to visit every day. Now, the courtyard was deserted, and there was a sense of desolation. In the pavilion, Song Lirue was only wearing ordinary casual clothes. He sat on a stone chair and slowly boiled tea. His face did not have the slightest hint of decadence, as if he was not worried about losing his prime minister position. Sitting across from him was Shang Liu, who was also forced to resign. He said to Minister Song, Prime Minister, are we just going to let it go like this? Liu, drink some tea. This is the best spirit tea. It is not easy for you to drink it. My daughter brought it back from Mount Amei and taught it to me. Minister Song said without answering the question. Shang Liu took the tea and drank it in one gulp like drinking wine. A waste of heavenly gifts, Minister Song commented. He picked up the tea and slowly drank it. He even closed his eyes, looking like he was floating in the air. Shang Liu said, Prime Minister, you are not worried at all. That girl is simply messing around. And that Yang family father and son, they are both very hateful. Then what method do you have? Minister Song asked. Shang Liu was at a loss for words. He secretly sulked in his heart. If I had a method, would I still need to come find you? Liu, actually I think it's pretty good right now. I don't have to deal with state affairs all day. It's not bad to enjoy this kind of leisurely time. Minister Song said with a smile. Minister Song, I know it's good right now, but there are some people who will definitely not let it go like this. When they have a stable transition, they will still make an example out of us. We have to guard against this. Don't be anxious. At this time, the more anxious you are, the easier it is to make mistakes. The ascension of the Empress, amnesty, tax reduction, all these seem good. But if there are frequent rebellions in other cities, will the people's hearts still be stable? Minister Song is saying that we should do some things in other cities. You don't need to think too much. We are all idle people. Why will we care about those things? You don't need to worry about it. Taking advantage of this time to properly rest your body and mind is better than anything else. Shang Liu had no other choice. After sitting for a while, he left the Song Manor. Minister Song still sent him to the door. After he left, Minister Song returned to the pavilion. His daughter and Huan Junbo appeared. Come, sit down and drink some tea. Minister Song called out to them. Uncle's temperament is truly worthy of this little nephew. Huan Junbo sat down and said respectfully, as an official for dozens of years, this is all I've learned. Minister Song said with a smile. After a pause, he asked, your mission this time has already been completed. You don't need to stay here to accompany this old man. Nothing will happen here. Father, originally we should be leaving, but Enforcer Ji told us to stay and investigate some things. She'll be back soon with the other enforcers of the sect. Song Jing replied. Then she said, Father, are you sure you can Latang take on the surname Song? How could it be that easy? Everything depends on effort. Right now, we just need to sit back and watch. Minister Song said with a look of victory. Uncle, is there anything you need us to do? Huan Junbo asked. As long as the people of your sect come and eliminate the Yang clan, everything will be fine. Minister Song said. That little thief must be eliminated. Huan Junbo said with a trace of killing intent. After a pause, he said, I've already sent people back to ask my martial uncle to come out of the mountain. He hates this kind of person the most. When the time comes, no matter who tries to stop him, only death awaits him. With your words, I'm relieved. Let's talk about the marriage between you and Jing Er. Father, this matter is still early. Chapter 427. In summer, the sun was very strong and the weather was very hot. The sky was blue with white clouds. In such a quiet day, from time to time, there would be thunder in the sky above the Yang Palace. For this situation, the people walking on the official road were already accustomed to it. They all knew that the little prince was refining pills again. Little Prince was the name that the common people gave to Yang Wu. He was too young and had a different surname, so it was much more intimate to call him by such a name. These days, Su Rome was doing good deeds. Every morning, she would distribute rice, steamed buns, and other food to the common people. She said that because her son disturbed everyone's peace, she apologized to everyone, but in fact, she wanted to accumulate merit for the Yang family. She hoped that their Yang family would be peaceful and would not be tormented again. Su Rome's good deeds were naturally praised by many people. Even the Prince Yang Wu was praised, so he was given such a name. In the Yang Palace, Yang Wu opened a place to refine pills. Little Hay supported the mansion with an array, so that the pill lightning he attracted would not affect the other places in the mansion. Now, Yang Wu basically refined king pills. His alchemy skills were already extraordinary. After the end of the alchemy, several people gathered in his courtyard. Lu Ji, Geng Jian, Zhang Xiao, Li Dazue, Zhou Yong, Huang Changjian, and the rest of the team. Yang Wu hadn't even gone to take a bath when he called them over and gave them a pill one by one. After everyone received the pill, they were so moved that they wanted to cry. Profound Congealing Pill was a king pill that could directly break through to the Earth-Sea realm. It was worth tens of thousands of profound spirit stones. If it was auctioned, it could even fetch a higher price. Yang Wu just gave it away. It was really too generous. Prince Zheng Xiaohu is a member of the Yang family. Even if he dies, he will be a ghost of the Yang family. Zheng Xiao knelt in front of Yang Wu and said solemnly. Li Dazue knelt down and said, My life already belongs to Prince. Zhou Yong also knelt down and said, I am willing to go through water and tread on fire for your highness. We're all on the same side. There's no need for that. Get up, Yang Wu said with a smile. He then looked at Huang Changjian and asked, Can the auction begin? Replying to your highness, we can start in 3 days. Huang Changjian replied. He paused for a moment before continuing. I came back to request the young master to prepare the final item for the auction, as well as to make a list of the people who will be participating in the auction. I've already prepared the auction items for you. As for the invitation list, you could discuss it with Lu Ji. Yang Wu said as he waved the pill in his hand. I believe that with His Highness's current popularity, this auction will be very successful. Huang Changjian said very firmly. It's good to be confident, but there are some things that you have to guard against, Yang Wu said. After talking with everyone for a while, he asked Lu Ji and Huang Changjian to stay back and talk about the details of the auction preparations before leaving. Since we're going to have an auction, let's make it grand, Yang Wu said to himself, and then set off for the Imperial Palace. After so many days, it was time for him to go see Her Majesty the Empress. She probably isn't doing too well. He sighed softly in his heart. For this trip, Yang Wu was very low-key and went to the Imperial Palace alone. Yang Wu arrived in front of the Imperial Palace's gates and was directly let in without needing to report. Who in the Imperial Guards didn't know that their commander's son was a prince? They had already been ordered by the Empress to enter and leave the Imperial Palace as they pleased. Yang Wu entered the Imperial Palace and saw the builders working hard to rebuild the pavilions and pavilions. His heart was filled with emotion. This place used to be so glorious, but after the baptism of war, most of it had been destroyed. It could be said to be a heavy loss. Yang Wu did not go to Tang Xiaoan's bedroom, but went directly to the Golden Imperial Palace. Sure enough, when he arrived at the Golden Imperial Palace, he found Tang Xiaoan wearing a dragon and phoenix robe looking at memorials. Her brows were tightly knit and her teeth were clenched. She looked like she was thinking hard about a good plan. Seeing her like this, Yang Wu felt an inexplicable pain in his heart. He felt very guilty for pushing her to the top. Greetings to Your Majesty the Empress. Yang Wu gave a bow and greeted her in a soft voice. Tang Xiaoan raised her head and looked at Yang Wu, who had suddenly come to visit. Her expression froze for a moment. When she came back to her senses, she asked, Does Your Highness have something to report? This time, it was Yang Wu's turn to freeze. He really wasn't used to Tang Xiaohan's businesslike manner. Yang Wu smiled and said, It's like this. I want to invite Your Majesty to participate in the Marquis Gang's auction. Tang Xiaohan replied without any hesitation. We are busy every day and do not have time to care about your matters. Is there anything else? Yang Wu walked over to Tang Xiaohan and said, Your Majesty the Empress just treated as going out to relax. Sitting at the table, reading memorials all day is not good for your body. You look much more haggard. Stop. When is it your turn to judge us? If there's nothing else, then get out. Tang Xiaohan revealed a trace of anger as she reprimanded him. This time Yang Wu was really stunned. He realized that Tang Xiaohan was not joking with him. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. This official was rude. Yang Wu cupped his hands towards Tang Xiaohan and said. Following that, he continued, Your subject's purpose in holding this auction is to clear up the oppressive atmosphere in the Imperial City and to strike a blow against the Medicine King's Hall, stopping the Medicine King's Hall from monopolizing the pills. Your Majesty, please come and support us. Child's play. We don't have time. If you don't have anything else, then leave. Tang Xiaoan loudly reprimanded him. Yang Wu's eyebrows slightly wrinkled as a burst of anger rose in his heart. He said to Tang Xiaoan, Then this official will take his leave. He turned around and left. He did not plan on talking to Tang Xiaohan anymore. He felt that this woman had changed too quickly. He did not know that when he walked out of the throne room, the person on the dragon table was already in tears. Your Majesty, you don't have to treat him like this. He is doing this for your own good. A faint voice sounded out from the throne room. So what? I'm not a puppet that he can manipulate as he wishes. Tang Xiaohan said uncomfortably. Perhaps he helped you to the throne on purpose, but I don't think he has the heart to make you a puppet. At most, he only hopes that when you are on the throne, You can take care of the Yang family a little. After all, he is still someone who has to leave this place. Humph, he is a person without a conscience. It's impossible for me to help him. When Yang Wu came out of the palace, he was in a very bad mood. He felt that Tang Xiaohan had changed too much, making it hard for him to accept. Is the temptation of the throne really that great? Once someone sits on the throne, they will lose their heart? Yang Wu asked in his heart. He could not understand, no matter how he thought about it. He also felt that other than this reason, Tang Xiaohan might have been affected by her father's death. He shook his head and did not want to think too much about it. He directly went to the Drunken Immortal restaurant to drink. The Drunken Immortal restaurant was a property of the 100 Flowers sect. If Shi Wenmei did not appear in the palace, he would not have known that the Drunken Immortal restaurant had such a great background. He could not understand why a giant in the transcendent realm like the 100 Flower sect would open a small property like this. Wasn't this a waste of talent? When Yang Wu came to the Drunken Immortal restaurant, the manager personally came out to greet him, saying, "Welcome, Your Highness. Your presence truly brings light to our Drunken Immortal restaurant." Yang Wu recognized the shopkeeper. He smiled and said, "Shopkeeper coming out to greet this little Wang. This little Wang is flattered. How could that be? You are my daughter's young master. We have already prepared a seat for you. Please come upstairs," the manager very tactfully said. This was a smooth and slick person. Immediately, Yang Wu understood the 100 Flower sect's intentions. This small restaurant was not only a tool to make money, but also a place to gather information from all over the world. From this, it could be seen that the 100 Flower sect had a lot of information that other forces did not have. This was very useful for their development. Aside from that, there was also a deeper meaning that he could not understand. Yang Wu sat on the second floor by the window. He ordered a jug of wine and a few dishes. He drank by himself, his mind a bit messy. It had always been Tang Xiaohan chasing after him. He felt that he could completely control Tang Xiaohan. But now that she had become different, giving him a strange feeling, he did not know why he felt uncomfortable. Could it be that I like her? That's impossible. Yang Wu asked himself, then raised his cup and drank. After a while, the sound of an eru could be heard. The sound of the eru was filled with continuous sorrow and tears. It was as if a pair of loving lovers had been persecuted and had no choice but to separate. In the end, one of them even died of depression. This kind of tragedy was not uncommon in the human world. Yang Wu couldn't help but think of the slug Zuu. He wondered how she was doing right now. It had been almost 2 years since the 3-year agreement. There was only about a year left until the end. He suddenly felt that it was a bit too long. He had an urge to see her again. After this matter is over, I'll go find her. No matter where you are, I'll bring you back to my side, Yang Wu said with a look of longing. The music of the eru changed again. Suddenly, it came to the battlefield. The scene of thousands of horses galloping, killing intent everywhere, and blood and flesh flying everywhere was extremely fierce and dangerous. Yang Wu felt as if he had returned to the time when he was fighting against the barbarians at the border. At that time, he had disregarded life and death. He had been prepared to die at the border at any time. Fortunately, he had survived and was living well. Along the way, he had persisted in his beliefs. Now that he had taken back what he had lost and reported his hatred, what should he do next? Besides looking for Zuu, should he continue to look for the Xian essence Qi with Little He? Or should he continue to strengthen the Yang family and fight against the strong enemies? He felt that these were not what he needed. So what exactly did he need? All of a sudden, he became a little confused. The music of the eru stopped. Yang Wu came to his senses and looked at the blind girl who played the eru, slowly groping her way down the stairs. He suddenly understood what he needed. Even a blind girl is so determined to live in this world. I'm already an extremely powerful official, and I have Little He's help. Why should I be confused about what I want? As long as I live the life I want vigorously, protect my loved ones, pursue immortality, and pursue the peak of martial arts, that's the life I want. It's time to set a small goal. Chapter 428. Yang Wu was sitting in Drunken Immortal Inn and had yet to return home when he received news from his subordinates. The person he had been looking for had been found. Bring me there. After Yang Wu heard this, he followed the Death Legion to a certain location. Who was Yang Wu looking for? They quickly walked to a slum alley in the outskirts of the city. The slum alley was inhabited by the poorest people in King City. It was also the base of the beggar sect. The beggar sect was quite powerful and had considerable rallying power in the mortal world. Its sect leader was also an impressive Earth-Sea Realm king. The beggar sect used the slogan of eradicate the strong and help the weak, rob the rich and give to the poor, to rope in many warriors from poor backgrounds. At the same time, they nurtured a batch of children who had suffered hardships but had good foundations as successors. They had lived a life of begging from a young age and had experienced the fickleness of human nature. They cultivated the mortal heart, and whether they could stand out depended on their luck. In an alley, there was a girl who was very famous. Her name was Ai Shah. She was an orphan, and it was rumored that her parents were dead. She began begging from the age of 8 to the age of 16. During this period, she became the big sister of the children in the slum alley. She was number 1 in fighting, number 1 in income from begging, and number 1 in loyalty. She was already quite famous here. Ai Shah had a nickname of Fox. She did things as cunning as a fox. Those who had bullied her in the past have been returned to her tenfold through various schemes. As Ai Shah's fame grew, she had brought a bunch of lackeys with her. The beggar sect wanted to recruit them, but unfortunately, Ai Shah did not wish to become a member of the beggar sect. She rejected the beggar sect's recruitment. The beggar sect's intention of recruiting Ai Shah was not that simple. The son of the beggar sect's deputy sect leader, Liang Oka, had taken a fancy to Ai Shah. He wanted to take this pretty fox into his arms. Liang Oak was not even 30 years old, but he was already at the mortal general realm. He was a deacon in the beggar sect, and his looks were nothing to be complimented. He wore bright clothes and carried a pair of maces on his back. As he walked with crab steps, he used his nose to look at the people in the slums. Even though beggars made a living by begging, in fact, the people at the top of the beggar clan were all very rich. They became beggars because they were lazy and were used to having food and clothes given to them. After they reached a certain level of strength, they used the slogan, "Rob the rich to help the poor," and rob many rich people. As the son of the beggar clan's deputy chief, Liang Oka had no problem eating, drinking, and wearing good clothes. Liang Oka led dozens of beggar clan's disciples to confront another group of people. The other group of people was Ai Shah and her little brothers and sisters. Ai Shah was a tall and thin girl. She wore clothes that were covered in patches, and her hair was messy like a chicken's nest. Her exposed arms and legs were dirty. No matter how one looked at her, she looked like a beggar. The only praiseworthy thing about her was the pair of intelligent eyes that seeped through her bangs. It was as though she was able to maintain a clear mind and heart in any environment. Ai Shah stepped on an injured beggar with a stalk of dried grass in her mouth. She looked at Liang Oka and company with an extremely arrogant look. Ai Shah had quite a number of people around her. There were about 20 to 30 of them, and they all looked malnourished. They held metal poles, broken shovels, wooden clubs, and other inferior weapons. They were far inferior to the people in front of them. The people in front of them were using real weapons. There were sabers, swords, spears, and so on. It was obvious at a glance whether they were superior or inferior. Young Master Liang, quickly save me. She's going to trample me to death. The beggar who was being stepped on by Ai Shah begged for help. Ai Shah, why bother with him? Just let him go. Liang Oka looked at Ai Shah and gently said, Liang Oka, take care of your dog. Don't speak nonsense. Next time he speaks nonsense, I will knock his teeth out one by one. Ai Shah said domineeringly, Young Master Liang, I did not speak nonsense. I was just following your instructions. It is she who does not know how to appreciate favors. The beggar who was being stepped on struggled to speak. Then he said, Young Master Liang likes you. It is a blessing from 3 lifetimes. Don't be ungrateful. Shut up. Ai Shah showed a sullen expression and shouted. She increased the strength of her foot and stepped on the beggar until he was in great pain. Ai Shah, you also know my identity. If you become my woman, The little brothers and sisters behind you will all join our beggars sect. In the future, you won't have to suffer so much. Why are you so stubborn? Liang Oka flicked his hair and revealed a look that he thought was very handsome. A youth beside AI Shah scolded. Hey, how can an old man like you be worthy of AI Shah? You guys should just get lost. Following this youth's words, the little brothers and sisters behind AI Shah also opened their mouths to curse. Their words were quite vulgar and vicious. Young Master Liang, why are you saying so much to these little brats? Beat them up. A sturdy beggar beside Liang Oka shouted. That's right. I've already endured these little brats for a long time. If it weren't for the sect leader's benevolence, allowing them to beg for food in our territory, they would have already starved to death. Now they don't know how to repay kindness and still act so atrociously. They really don't know what's good for them. Another beggar said. The beggar's sect members all rubbed their fists and feet, preparing to attack AI Shah and the others. Liang Oka smiled and said, AI Shah, you are very smart. You can clearly see the situation. If you don't agree to my request, they won't have a good life in the future. They might even die. I know you care about them. Even if you don't think for yourself, you should think for them, right? AI Shah was at a loss. She had received guidance from an expert, and her cultivation had been smooth. She had already reached the realm of a top warrior. In this alley, she was the strongest among the younger generation. But compared to Liang Oka, she was still far from being a match. The beggars in front of her were all martial soldiers, and the little brothers and sisters behind her didn't have many martial soldiers. If they fought, they definitely wouldn't be a match for them. What should she do? If only Master didn't die. AI Shah sighed in her heart. You old man, if you want to bully AI Shah, you'll have to die first. While AI Shah was hesitating, the youth beside her rushed out with an iron rod. The other boys and girls also showed a beast-like, ferocious look. They carried their inferior weapons and rushed out. They had suffered a lot. They only wanted to live. With AI Shah's growth in the past 2 years, she had led them to a good life. They absolutely couldn't allow AI Shah to be bullied. You guys come back. AI Shah shouted. Unfortunately, they didn't listen. The beggars around Liang Oka had already started to attack. You little bastards, you haven't even seen blood, yet you still want to learn how to fight. Kill you. The stout beggars cursed and began to beat the boys and girls. In this slum alley, a group of people were mixed together, and the sound of miserable screams could be heard unceasingly. Those hot-blooded boys and girls were beaten until their heads were broken and bleeding. Compared to the beggars' sect members, they were far worse. You all deserve to die. AI Shah lost her usual calmness. With a ruthless shout, she rushed out with a dagger. AI Shah's running speed was very fast. She passed through the crowd. Her sharp dagger stabbed toward the stout beggar who was fighting fiercely. AI Shah's attack was very ruthless. Her target was the stout beggar's heart. She wanted to kill the other party. Fatty, be careful, Liang Oka warned. In this group of people, only Liang Oka was at the general level. The others were at most at the warrior level. Although he could see AI Shah's attack, it didn't mean that others could. The stout beggar's reaction wasn't slow. He dodged AI Shah's fatal attack, but his shoulder was still pierced by AI Shah. He screamed in pain. AI Shah didn't spare him. She took the opportunity to kill the other beggars. Aisha's attacks were very methodical. Every move was extremely crafty and ruthless. She stabbed 4 or 5 beggars, killing them to the point that their hearts turned cold. Little Bienzi, die for me. A beggar seized the opportunity when AI Shah was attacking others. He raised his big knife and chopped towards AI Shah. Be careful. Don't hurt AI Shah. Liang Oka nervously shouted. AI Shah was aware of the danger. She tilted her body and narrowly dodged the knife. She rolled on the spot. The dagger directly stabbed the foot of the beggar who had just sneak attacked her. That beggar screamed in pain. AI Shah didn't even think about it. She raised her hand and slapped him away. Then she fought with the other beggars. AI Shah is so strong. Oh no, you don't hurt AI Shah. She is my woman. AI Shah, don't hurt my subordinates. Otherwise, I won't be polite. AI Shah quickly crouched down. There's a sword slashing toward your back. Many beggars heard Liang Oka constantly reminding Ai Shah. They were about to collapse. Their leader was a traitor. Young Master Liang, can you stop talking? We're about to be defeated by her. A beggar said unhappily. In the end, this beggar was slapped twice by Liang Oka and scolded. You pieces of trash. I'm telling you not to hurt Ai Shah. Capture her for me. The beggars cried. They were not as strong as Ai Shah. How could they capture her without hurting her? A smart beggar grabbed Ai Shah's companion and threatened Ai Shah, saying, Ai Shah, quickly stop. Otherwise, I'll kill him. As expected, Ai Shah had no choice but to stop her attack. She angrily glared at that beggar and said, Hurry and release Shao Jie. You surrender first. That beggar said again. Ai Shah, don't worry about me. I'm not afraid of death. The youth who was caught said. It would have been better if he didn't say that. After he said that, Ai Shah simply threw the dagger to the ground. She looked like she had given up on resisting. Liang Oka immediately clapped and said, Ha, good. You finally know how to use your brain. Let them go. I'll go with you. Ai Shah calmly said as she wiped the blood from her face. That's right. You'll be able to eat and drink well with me in the future. Your little brothers and sisters will also be well taken care of. Liang Oka said with incomparable pride. He then walked towards Ai Shah. I hope you'll do as you say. Ai Shah looked at Liang Oka and said. Liang Oka pinched Ai Shah's chin and said, Of course. As long as you become my woman, they'll all be very good. Suddenly, a voice came from who knows where and said, Beggar, let go of that girl.